It's time for Hoptown Hoppers Baseball. This Hoppers on Radio broadcast is brought to you by Service One Credit Union, Southern States Petroleum, Raymond Nelson Insurance, Baird Wealth Management, All Clean Services, and AKS Flooring and Design Center.
What was the score? They beat us 8-2.
Hopkinsville Milling Company, J. Schrecker Jewelry, Arby's, Hoptown Hoppers, TGASK, Hayes Furniture, Penny Roll Electric, Max Arnold and Sons, Planners Bank, and Huggard Beard and Giles Funeral Home. Now let's head to the stadium for all the action.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Hopper Baseball here, set to start in about 14 minutes as the Hoptown Hoppers will take on the Madisonville Miners in a rematch from just 2 days ago. The Miners defeated the Hoppers 8-2 in that game, and the Hoppers will look to bounce back after back-to-back defeats as they also lost yesterday 15-5 against the Whirlybirds. So when we come back, we'll hear the coach's comments as the Dugout Show is brought to you by the Barbecue Shack, offering catering and custom cooking. Visit them Wednesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., 4687 Pembroke Road in Hopkinsville. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, you'll hear from Hopper head coach E.J. Davari.
Radio WHOP.
Jamar Perkins here with Hopper head coach E.J. Davari. How you doing today, Coach?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Doing good, doing good. So, Coach, in yesterday's loss, after the 12 runs from Clarksville in the first, your team outscored them 5-3 for the rest of the game. What's the message to your team after a loss like that?
We had to collect ourselves, sit down and really talk about what we wanted to get out of this summer, and we all came to the same conclusion, working hard, staying on the path and achieving the goal that we have set for the summer. So it really comes down to, executing and being better on the field. But I feel like after the end of, yesterday and then today's meeting, we concluded, we feel like we're on the right path right now, so feel good.
So, Coach, you played the Miners just 2 days ago. What do you think your players can capitalize on off the Miners based on that Tuesday matchup?
If you really watch the game, they do have some guys that can hit. So executing pitches and keeping the ball low in this field will be definitely a goal that we have set for them today.
Coach, Gavin Baxter and Robert Estrada are two players that have seen a lot of action in every single game. What is it about those two players that keep them in the lineup?
Estrada is just, he's a utility guy. He's able to put the barrel to the ball and be there for the defensive plays. And then Baxter, he's just been, having good quality at bats for the most part. Yesterday he had a little bit of an iffy game, but nothing to be worried about. Just I'm giving the day off today. So just see how he bounced back.
Coach, today's game is Military Appreciation Night. Is there any connection for you in the military, and what does a night like this mean to you?
It's always good to recognize those people that give out their dailies to to protect us. My grandparent, he was an Army guy. He was on the wars back in the day. So a couple other uncles have been in the Army as well. We got Corey. He's in the National Guard. So, it's always, like I said, it's always good to recognize those people that sacrifice, everything they got to protect our homeland. So.
Last question, Coach, as always. Who's starting tonight, and what can you tell us about him?
We got Caden Wilburn. It's going to be his first outing this summer. I'm really excited to watch the lefty throw. So we'll see who he got on the bag today. So I'm not going to say too much.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
And welcome back here inside Colonel Field. Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander. As we will take a quick timeout here. Apologize for the longer break as we had the colors being presented by members of the 101st Airborne Division. And the national anthem was also sang by Sergeant First Class Christine Permenter. Take a quick timeout and check out our game time weather brought to you by Charlie Henderson State Farm Insurance. And after that, we will check our starting lineups here at Colonel Field.
Here's your WHOP Weather Center forecast. Lows around 64 tonight, under mainly clear skies, west winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Daytime highs approaching 88 tomorrow, sunny skies and calm. Lows dip down to about 60 tomorrow night. Temperatures above average Saturday and Sunday.
To Megan Mulford for our game time weather. Once again brought to you by Charlie Henderson State Farm. Want to check out the starting lineups brought to you by Riken Elastomers. Join the Riken Elastomers team with process operating starting pay at over $18 an hour and an excellent benefit package that includes employee paid benefits. Call 270-475-2150 extension 214 to learn more. First up for the Madisonville Miners, Wyatt Cunningham is batting out of left field. He'll start off things off. Next up, Alex DeVito in the second spot. Third, playing at shortstop, Braden Taylor. And then third baseman batting fourth, it's Tyler Froland. In the cleanup spot for fifth spot, it's Christian Callagher. He'll be playing behind a home plate at catcher. Then the designated hitter, Will Vance, will be playing in the sixth spot. Seventh spot is Connor O'Connell playing at first base. The eighth spot, Jack Robinson playing out of right field. And Jace Parnan will be the second baseman for the Miners. Sean Pespiza, will be pitching for the Miners. And starting for the Hoppers, it'll be Robert Estrada batting first, playing at second base. A new look for Estrada tonight. Stephen Bell will be playing on the second spot as a designated hitter. The third batter, Luis Vergara, coming out of left field. Once again, Carter Hood will be playing at third for the Hoppers in his debut. The left-handed pitcher, Caden Wilburn, a member of UIndy, which is also where Coach E.J. Davari coaches at as well. So a connection here. As if you were listening to the Dugout Show, Davari excited about what this lefty can bring. I was told as well when they competed in the World Series that they actually saw time. So that shows just enough that he was an important player on the pitching staff for the UIndy team. And so we're almost ready for the opening pitch, brought to you by Rapid RX Pharmacy, located on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville. Looking for a new pharmacy? Let the friendly staff at Rapid RX Pharmacy help you. As pitching first hitting first will be Wyatt Cunningham. First pitch is low and inside for a ball. So 1-0 to start things off here. Again, it's Military Appreciation Night here at Colonel Field. The 1-0 pitch, another low and inside one there, makes it 2-0. I want to go ahead and start this off and thank anyone who has previously served in the military, who is serving in the military, and all the family members that are connected to that as well. Much appreciated, or appreciative, should I say, to them. 2-0 count, an inside pitch almost hits Cunningham there. That makes it a 3-0 count. So first three pitches, all balls here. So you can hear Miggy Villalobos from first base talking a bit to Caden Wilburn. Bit of a pep talk. So 3-0 the count. Left-handed pitcher is Wilburn the pitch. Breaking ball is a bit high there. So Cunningham will walk to start things here. And we didn't get to talk too much in that pregame show. Talk to me, Ethan, about what you noticed in that 8-2 loss against Madisonville just 2 days ago.
Yeah, so the teams played very similar games of baseball, both ending up with 10 hits. I don't remember how many errors they both had, but I think they were relatively close as well. The Miners just taking advantage at times when they needed to, whereas the Hoppers did not. So that score, 8-2, is kind of deceiving.
that was a close game apart from the scoreboard. So I'm expecting to see another game like that tonight, maybe this time with a little bit closer on the final numbers.
Lefty on lefty action here as DeVito is at the plate. He showed bunt but took it away. He's been thrown 2 balls now, so a 2-0 count. But again, Cunningham is on first after being walked. Alex DeVito from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, and is currently playing at North Park University. Outside a pitch there for a ball. That makes it another 3-0 count here, as it looks like we're going to have a bit of a meeting infield as Chase Cummings walks over, and it looks like all the infield is going to come in. And instead of a pitching coach, Mike Albin, it's going to be E.J. Davari coming to chat with this guy here.
Yeah, and a familiar face for Wilburn Davari, his coach at UIndy. So the Hoppers begging and pleading for a starting pitcher who can come out and be calm and rest his nerves. And right here, Caden Wilburn's first appearance on the season for the Hoppers, maybe a little nervous or possibly a little cold after coming off a couple weeks of not pitching. And so, they just need to get his head back on his shoulders.
As a shout out to Danny Roberts here. I believe they were giving out free ice cream to the first 150 people here that came to get it, and they just brought some up to the booth. So I want to publicly thank him as they're going to throw over to first. There does Wilburn. And so we're still at a 3-0 count here. Left-handed batter Alex DeVito is at the plate. The pitch is outside there, so DeVito will walk. And now runners on first and second with no outs here. 1-0-2. He just started things here in the top of the first inning. First 2 batters have been walked. Now Braden Taylor, the shortstop, will be up to bat. Taylor coming from Johnson University, originally from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And one thing I'll mention about Braden Taylor, he's one of the 3 players that are playing in this game that appeared on Tuesday night for the Miners. He also struck out 4 straight times in that game. His final 4 at-bats were all strikeouts. So not saying that against him, but someone here that didn't show a ton of hitting acumen on Tuesday that Wilburn may be able to take advantage of for an out.
So an 0-1 count here with runners on first and second. The pitch is swung on and missed. That first pitch, by the way, was a foul ball. That swing and a miss makes it 0-2. So after pitching 3 0s to start here for the first 2 batters, Wilburn finds himself ahead in the count at 0-2 here on the mound. As he'll throw over to second, and it looked close there, and I think they are going to call out. Some Madisonville fans here are upset about that call, but as he's still on the base, I think he's just trying to plead his case. I don't know if he's going to get much of a argue. So, yep, Cunningham is going to be tagged out. It was Estrada there that tagged him, and they're saying he was off of the base.
And Cunningham and the Miners coach are pleading here that he was obstructed and that he couldn't get back to the base because Estrada's right leg was blocking it. So that's their argument here.
That's exactly what he's kind of showing there. The coach is upset here, kind of trying to show him what happened. And as the coach says, it's a terrible start for the umpires. As I believe that's there's 1 out here. After the tag out, so runner at first and at the plate with an 0-2 count. It's a swing and a miss there. So quickly there, right in with 2 outs here now. Now Tyler Froland, the cleanup hitter for the Miners, is up to bat. Froland coming up from a North Iowa area community college. He fouls there as it hits home plate. Originally from Sacred Heart, Minnesota. So an 0-1 count now. Again, a runner still on first. That's DeVito as he was walked. And now 2 outs here in the top of the first. Already a positive start from yesterday's game in that top of the first. If you didn't know about that one, it was 12 runs scored by the Whirlybirds in that first inning. And so now 1-1, excuse me, the count. Here with 2 outs. Froland at the plate. The pitch, a slow approach there. It's going to be a strike, but get past Douglas there. So advancing to second is DeVito. So a 1-2 count now. It was a strike there that got past Douglas, just a pass ball there. So 1-2. Runner on second, 2 outs here. The pitch, as they're stealing third, it's a swing and a miss, doesn't matter there. Strikeout back-to-back here. As in the top of the first, there were no hits, no errors, 1 left on base, and no runs scored. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, we head to the bottom of the first inning. No runs scored, 0-0 ball game. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Whether it's planner.
And welcome back. Here is the Hoppers are set to bat here in the bottom of the first inning as they host the Madisonville Miners for Military Appreciation Night here inside Colonel Field. This game day is sponsored by Olivet Baptist Church. And a pitching will be Sean Pespisa for the Miners. And batting for the Hoppers to start things off, Estrada. And on deck, Stephen Bell, and then Luis Vergara will round out the first of 3 batters.
Leading off for the Hoptown Hoppers in the first inning, the second baseman, number 29, Robert Estrada.
As pitching, Vespisa has appeared in 2 games and has pitched about 6 innings and a third. Allowed 6 hits, 2 runs. He struck out 4. The first pitch from Vespisa is a swing and a miss there. There's an 0-1 count here for Robert Estrada. And second pitch, no swing there, but it's called strike. So an 0-2 count. Estrada, a .250 hitter coming into this game. Third pitch is swung on a miss. It was low. It'll hit the dirt. It's thrown to first, and it's an out there. Strikeout there from Estrada.
Batters the DH, number 21, Stephen Bell.
Now Stephen Bell As not surprised to see him in the lineup here, as they're going to put him out as a designated hitter. Ended up going 3 for 4 yesterday. All were singles as he'll hit straight towards Pespisa, and he'll catch it. It hits the glove.
Wow.
And then drops in the hand, so it never touched the ground. And a nice play there from Pespisa.
Yeah, that one may have hurt him a little bit. It kind of hit him in the chest there. He tries to trap it and then catches it with his non-gloved hand. So I don't know if that really connected with him or not, but if it did, then it would have hit him square in the chest. So, but an interesting play there either way.
First pitch there is a strike there. A bit high, but just clips the strike zone in the middle. So an 0-1 count. Luis Vergara is at the plate. The pitch is a foul ball behind the home plate over the screen. So an 0-2 count now. Again, 1-0-2. The Pespisa, also a left-handed pitcher, as Caden Wilburn for Hoptown is as well. So that pitch will get past the catcher for the Miners to make it a 1-2 count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. And we have a 1-2 count, and that's a swing and a miss there. Outside pitch swung on and missed, as in that bottom of the first for the Hoppers. There were no hits, no errors, none left on base, and no runs scored. We'll check the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard heading to the top of the second, and no runs scored yet, 0-0. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
WHOP.
We start the top of the second inning here. There's no scores yet. The Hoptown Hoppers hosting the Madisonville Miners. As the Hoppers are trying to get in the win column here, currently on a 3-game losing streak with a 3-8 record. And for the Miners, they currently have a 6-4 record and have just lost one game. They have a 1-game losing streak. They lost to the Louisville Jockeys last night, 11-4. Again, pitching is Caden Wilburn for the Hoppers. And now batting, it's Christian Callagher. The pitch swung on and missed there. Put in a nice spot there, just outside. So an 0-1 count here. The pitch there is swung on and missed as well. So an 0-2 count. The 0-2 pitch and back to 3 swings and 3 misses there lead to a strikeout for Callagher. And that's the 3rd one in a row for Wilburn. Now up to bat, Will Vance, as he did something special into that game against the Hoppers. You said it was a 3-run homer.
Yeah, one of the Miners' 10 hits that they needed when they needed it, and that'll, and he makes a play at first.
Villalobos kind of has to catch behind him there. It was a foul ball.
That's a pretty athletic maneuver. I think he may have lost it there for a second and had to lean way back on his heels to get that ball. But impressive there from him, from
Now,
Miggy.
Connor O'Connell, the first baseman, a left-handed batter, set to go at the plate. O'Connell from Fort Myers, Florida. As that pitch is just inside for a ball. Fort Myers, the home of FGCU. He goes to Rose-Hulman Institution of Tech College. An 0-1 count here. Is 1-1 now the count. I actually believe it might be 2-0 now that I say that. I believe that first pitch looked like a strike, but it was inside for a ball. So I think we have a 2-0 count here. As that pitch is inside as well, and I'm correct. So it was a 3-0 count is what we have. Board said 1-1. So a 3-0 count here. The pitch. That's outside, so a walk will advance to O'Connell.
Right fielder number 10.
And now up to bat, Jack Robinson. Listening in for the fans, it looks like he just goes by Jack. No Jackie nickname. It'd be cool, though, but I understand. Jack Robinson playing out of right field, the 8th hole batter. Here with 2 outs and a runner on first. The pitch is outside for a ball. And Jack Robinson from Canby, Indiana. He also pitches as well. A couple of, as that's a swing and a miss there, a couple of two-way players in this lineup for Madisonville. So 1-1 count after that swing and a miss there with 2 outs. And outside pitch there was a bit low as well, makes it 2-1. So 2 outs here. 2-1 pitch is swung on and missed there for the second strike, making it 2-2. So 2 outs here, runner on first, and a 2-2 count here against Jack Robinson with Caden Wilburn on the mound. Already with 3 strikeouts here is Wilburn in this second inning. Inside pitch there, low as well for a ball, makes the count full at 3-2. So a full count here with 2 outs and a runner at first. That's O'Connell. They'll throw over to first. It's a bit away from Villalobos, but he's able to track that down.
And I will mention the way Caden Wilburn throws to first is pretty tricky. He really doesn't look like he's going to make that throw until right when he makes it. So a lefty's already staring down the first base side. Maybe an advantage.
He'll do it again.
Yeah.
And you're right, it is a technique where you think he maybe is winding up for a pitch there. So a full count here, 2 outs. An actual throw here is fouled behind home plate, keeping the count 3-2. Full count there. As the ball boy Nixon came to go get the ball behind home plate, the umpire kind of flew him away, but Nixon was already there. He puts his hand on his head like, oh man, and then the umpire throws it to him. It's a 3-2 pitch. Looks like it's going to be in the air towards right field, and Perkins is there for the grab. So in the top of the second for the Miners, there were no hits, no errors, 1 left on base, and no runs scored as we check the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Still scoreless heading to the bottom of the second, 0-0. This is Hopper Baseball brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Carter Hood is up at the plate for the Hoppers here in the bottom of the second. No runs scored so far, as it'll be the 4-5-6. Hood, Oliverio is a swing and a miss there. Makes it an 0-1 count for Hood. After Oliverio, it'll be Chase Cummings. An 0-1 count here. Inside pitch swung on, fouled towards the screen right beside the Hopper dugout. So an 0-2 count now. Outside pitch for a ball there makes it 1-2. One-two pitch is chopped at home plate for foul. Might have hit the leg. I think it did hit the leg there of Carter Hood. It bounced up, got him right near that left calf area. Not necessarily speaking from experience, but I can imagine that hurting.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he limps it off a little bit, walks it off, but I think he'll be all right.
So 1-2 count still. A slow adjustment there, as that'll be a high pitch for a ball there, just a bit high. As Pespisa kind of lifts the legs up, holds it for a second, and then he'll throw it as a base hit there, right towards the left of second base.
That is a super loading guard single for
And going towards center field there with the grounder is a base hit for Carter Hood.
batting for the Hoppers.
Now up to bat, it'll be Dom Oliverio. Oliverio, in 29 at-bats this season, has a .276 average and one of the best on-base percentages on the team as well at .417. Strike there, a bit of a delayed call there from the umpire, but an 0-1 count regardless here for Oliverio. Going to runner on first, no outs, no runs scored so far in this ball game for either team. Shot towards second, it'll be chopped, it's fielded, thrown at second, out, thrown to first, and a double play there. As 4-6-3 there for the double play.
And I swear I've seen more double plays against this Hoptown Hoppers team this season than any other baseball team I've ever watched. It's like almost whenever they get a guy on first base, they just feel compelled to hit it to that second baseman. It's almost every single game you'll see a double play against this team.
So 2 outs here. Chase Cummings at bat. Maybe we'll say it's the good pitching that's coming at us. And they're doing that on purpose, throwing those low ones. But you're right, and we have hit into multiple double plays this season. Not sure if I can find a stat on that or not, but it's been multiple times, you're right. An 0-1 count after that foul ball to Chase Cummings. As that'll be a shot towards center field. Trying to track it down is DeVito, and he does there. So in that inning, there was 1 hit, no errors, none left on base, and no runs scored. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Looking for a job, visit Manpower on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville today. Let them connect you with the great position where you can start tomorrow. Heading to the top of the third, still no runs scored, 0-0. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Welcome back here. Set to start the top of the third inning as the Hoppers are taking on the Madisonville Miners with no runs scored yet. 0-0 ball game. Is up to bat here for the Miners will be Jace Harnan playing at second base. And I believe before the game, Ethan, did you say that this was one of the players that actually pitched against us on Tuesday?
Yeah, Jace Harnan pitched, I want to say, 3 full innings scoreless on Tuesday's game. He was their reliever pitcher, came in after their starter and pitched pretty good, was a sidearm pitcher as well. And I noticed on the sheet at the time he was a two-way player, but didn't expect to see him playing tonight on the other end.
As ball hits the dirt there for the first pitch, a ball here in the top of the third. So a 1-0 count here. As that'll be a pop fly towards center field, trying to track it down, and does there. A nice job from Oliverio tracking that ball down.
Yeah, and I think Oliverio thought that was hit harder than it was, kind of starts backing up, and then all of a sudden sees where it's going and sprints up about 15 yards to make that play there. But good awareness in the center field from Oliverio.
It sounded good. Well, you say it too. Jace Parham, we just mentioned him, the batter that flied out. He had pitched 3 innings in that game, 8-2 win, and he allowed 1 hit, struck out 6, and walked 1. As that first pitch is a strike. Back at the top of the lineup is Wyatt Cunningham. As an 0-1 count now. Cunningham was the one that was tagged out in second as that ball hits the dirt and gets past Douglas there. As we do have some Madisonville Miner fans here in attendance.
Yeah, not too far of a drive. There was quite a few Hoppers fans on Tuesday in Madisonville, so not surprised to see some Miners fans returning the favor tonight. Probably one of the games we'll see more away fans than usual.
1-1 count. Pitch there, a strike as it clips inside. So 1-2 now with 1 out. Again, scoreless here in the top of the third inning. Hoppers taking on the Miners. Breaking ball pitch there. Another one towards left center field. Oliverio tracking it down. Oliverio catches it there for the second out. Back-to-back balls come straight to him for catches, and 2 outs now.
Center fielder number 8, Alex DeVito.
Now Alex DeVito will come to the plate. A left-handed batter. As DeVito plays at North Park University and is from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Straight down the middle there is a strike there. As DeVito listed as an infield and outfield player, he's playing at center tonight. An 0-1 count here. Breaking ball just a bit outside there. So 1-1 now the count. Inside pitch there, and he was hit there. That was DeVito, so he'll advance to first.
And we've noticed that a lot. That's the first hitter to actually be hit so far, but a lot of inside pitches coming really close so far from Caden Wilburn. Finally catches up with him there and sends a runner to first.
As the Miners are actually they're 8th in the OVL when it comes to being hit by a pitch. I know the Hoppers are a bit higher on that list as I'm checking it now. First pitch is going towards left field. Trying to track it down is Vergara, and he does for the 3rd out. As he had to run quite a bit for that one, but he makes the grab. So here in the top of the 3rd inning, there were no hits and no errors. 1 left on base and no runs scored as we check the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Heading to the bottom of the 3rd, still scoreless here, 0-0. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio WHOP.
Welcome back here in the bottom of the third inning. Still scoreless here as the Hoppers are taking on the Madisonville Miners. Here it's Military Appreciation Night for the Hoppers. As down the middle there is a strike called against Douglas. He's playing behind home plate tonight at catcher. So no one count. That pitch is hit towards left center field. That'll be a base hit there. He's going for two. It's fielded. The throw hits the cutout man, and Douglas makes it in time. A double there for Reed Douglas.
Leadoff double for Reed Douglas.
And a nice job there from Douglas. Puts the Hoppers in a nice spot here with no runs scored by either of these teams. And now Miggy Villalobos will be at the plate.
Yeah, and Reed Douglas is someone that I'm surprised doesn't get more looks at DH, considering how good of a hitter he's been. He hit pretty well on Tuesday, too, I believe. And, you know, it's hard to play those guys every night. Guys like Douglas, the catchers, we have 3 catchers on this team that rotate pretty regularly. So Douglas plays usually when he plays catcher, but I could see him slotting into that DH spot more often.
And Reed Douglas, as pitch called there is a strike. So an 0-2 count after the first pitch was a foul ball. Reed Douglas has the second best on-base percentage on this team, right behind Luis Villalba.
Another catcher.
A low pitch there is a ball. So a 1-2 count here with the runner on second with no outs here in the bottom of the third. Villalobos at the plate. They'll throw over to second. And Douglas makes sure he is both feet on second. As we saw earlier, a play against the Miners that were base running. They got tagged out there. So being safe there is Douglas. A 1-2 count, no outs. Villalobos at the plate. The pitch, they're stealing third. But it's a foul ball there. So Douglas will have to come back to second.
Yeah, and he was going to make that. He had a huge lead already and then started running way early. It could have honestly been caught by the pitcher if he'd been paying attention. No foul there, and Douglas is on third.
And you talk about having a nice, benefit being a left-handed pitcher for first base. Second base, you have a nice way. That's a swing and a miss there for a strikeout. Not much vision at all, and a benefit for a second base runner, as Douglas had some, like you said, some large leadoffs. But an out there as Villalobos strikes out. Now Sam Perkins will get a chance at the plate. His first at-bat here in the bottom of the third. Still a runner on second. That's Douglas. The pitch is high there for a ball. So a 1-0 count here. Sam Perkins coming from Hanover College, originally from Louisville, Kentucky. He'll show bunt. He gets it down. It'll be fielded, thrown to first. That's an out there, but advancing to third is a Douglas. So the job done there by Perkins. Now it's up to Robert Estrada with 2 outs here.
Yeah, and you don't mind that. Obviously, that's what the goal was to get Douglas on third base and have a guy like Robert Estrada, who has had some success, especially hitting singles this season, trusting your teammates there.
First pitch is a strike there to Estrada. He did strike out in his first at-bat and at the bottom of the first. And Estrada, he has 9 hits on the season. You're right, they've all been singles. As he'll swing and miss there. Ball gets loose, but tracking it down. There was Christian Callagher. So an 0-2 count now quickly for Robert Estrada, trying not to strike out for the second time in a row. Here with the runner in scoring position at third. 2 outs here, still 0-0. The pitch is low there in front of home plate for a 1-2 count. So 1-2, the pitch is just a bit outside, but a good eyesight there from Estrada, because I'm from up here, it looked like a strike. So a 2-2 count. 2 outs. The pitch is going to be chopped there towards second. It's fielded, thrown, and it's an out there. So from second to third is that third out. And checking what happened here in the bottom of the third for the Hoppers. There was 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base, and no runs. We head to the top of the fourth. Still scoreless here. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville. Scoreboard 0-0. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
At TGASK, we take a lot of pride and a lot of time building a world-class facility for the safety and comfort of our workers. Straight shifts mean life balance to our nearly 10,000-person workforce across the United States. Our benefits packages can add $7 per hour to our competitive wage structure. Ready for a little balance in your life? Visit workfortg.com and apply today.
This is News Radio WHOP AM Hopkinsville and WHOP HD3 Hopkinsville. News Radio WHOP.
We are here in the top of the fourth inning. Still scoreless here, 0-0, as the Hoppers host the Madisonville Miners here inside Colonel Field. As want to note that this game day is brought to you by Olivet Baptist Church. And I want to say something as well, too. I want to know who all the fans out here, whether you're supporting the Hoppers or the Miners, I want to know where you're listening from. So if you'd like to, hit me up on Twitter. It's Jamar Perkins is the ad. It's Jahmar, different spelling of Jamar. So Jamar Perkins, Perkins. Shoot me a chat and let me know where you're listening from. I'll shout you out. So here in the top of the fourth inning, the Miners have Tyler Froland at the plate, the fourth batter. First pitch, breaking ball, looks pretty, sounded good from the umpire for a strike. And so an 0-1 count here. Outside pitch there for a ball. So a 1-1 count. Again, pitching is Caden Wilburn, as that's a shot towards third, but it is fielded there. The throw, it bounces, but it's in time. Nice job there from Carter Hood.
Yeah, an impressive connection. Obviously, that's a hard play to make from Hood, not only the grab on a fast ball there, but the throw as well. But Miggy Villalobos at first base doing a good job to snag that off the ground for the out. An impressive first out here in the top of the fourth.
So 1 out here. Inside pitch there for a strike against Christian Callagher. So an 0-1 count here, 1 out. Still a 0-0 ball game here. And outside pitch there. Makes it a 1-1 count. The 1-1 pitch, breaking ball is 2 inside there, a little high as well, making it 2-1. Gallagher from the University of Montevideo is from Chelsea, Alabama. As that is fouled there. to the side of the third baseman. Interesting here as I'm looking at the roster, Christian Callagher from the University of Montevallo is a catcher from Chelsea, Alabama. Reed Gongwer, he's not in the lineup tonight, but he is from the University of Montevallo, also from Chelsea, Alabama, and he's a pitcher.
Yeah, and he started. He was the starting pitcher on Tuesday for Madisonville.
So I wonder if they went to the same high school, or if not, just the fact that they're from the same hometown as a pitcher and catcher duo is very interesting, as that's a ball there outside to make it a 3-2 count. So 1 out here. Full count. The pitch is low and inside for a walk. So Callagher will advance. On a note, too, give a disclaimer. I believe I did this last time it happened. We do have a wasp kind of swing around what's in between me and Ethan in the booth. So if you hear random sounds like two squirrels fighting underneath for a nut, you know, you'll know it's it's us trying to get away from this wasp. So disclaimer here.
Yeah, this wasp nest has been here for about a week, and they've been pretty nice. They haven't done much moving around. They like to stay on their nest during these games, but today one seems to be a little bit more energetic, not seeming to come super close to us, but he's definitely moving around.
So Will Vance is now at the plate, designated hitter, as throwing over to first there was Wilburn over at Callagher. So a runner on first with 1 out, still scoreless here in the top of the 4th inning. The Miners at bat. That pitch, a strike there. So an 0-1 count. Again, runner on first. We're here in the top of the 4th. Callagher jumps a bit. That's a foul ball, as that'll go behind the Hoppers bleachers. So an 0-2 count here with 1 out. And like I mentioned, Will Vance is at the plate, coming from Johnson University from Madisonville, Tennessee. And he'll throw over to first once again. Callagher is good.
Yeah, and we talked about it earlier as far as Wilburn throwing to first seems to do that quite a lot. And they're pretty accurate. He's left-handed, so he doesn't have to do much movement to get it there. Might not see as many stealing runners tonight from first and second.
The 0-2 pitch is going to be a shot towards Wilburn. It's going to be tagged from Estrada.
Oh.
Ball gets loose from Villalobos, and not sure if he's just making a reaction or did he get hurt there. He kind of went towards the glove, and now he's backing him. I think he might have hurt his hand there. It hit the glove wrong. He's going to kind of walk off a bit. And so it got past Wilburn on the mound, but Estrada was there at second to track it down and was able to tag second, threw over to first, and Villalobos kind of had to go underneath the ball, and his hand seems like it's in pain here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he may have stubbed some fingers against the ground going for that low throw.
And he's kind of making a walk towards first. I believe he is going to stay in this ball game.
Yeah, he has that left hand wrapped anyway. So perhaps already struggling with that hand.
2 outs here. And if you didn't hear it through the PA announcer, it's still have time to get to this ball game for Military Appreciation Night. Chicken nachos and fried bologna being featured on the menu tonight. Sound like some good eats to me. I don't know about you, Ethan.
Oh yeah, I haven't been able to really get food from the concessions this season just because we've been up here, you know, but they're always pretty good whenever I would try them, last year especially.
A high pitch there as Douglas was trying to throw over to Villalobos. Looked like it may have been a trick play there. It was a bit high, though. Almost hit Vance near the head. He had to kind of step back a bit. 1-0 count. Runner on first. 2 outs here. As that ball will get loose and advancing there is Vance. And a correction as well, too. Vance is at second base, as he was the one who grounded in towards Estrada for the attempted double play. So we have actually Connor O'Connell is at the plate with the 2-0 count. Two outs, outside pitch there, tracked down from Douglas. That makes it a 3-0 count here with a runner at second with 2 outs. O'Connell was walked in that second inning. No hits so far for the Miners. 2 for the Hoppers. Low pitch will walk O'Connell for the second time in a row.
Yeah, and I was just about to say you actually don't mind a walk there because your only other option is to make sure you throw strikes, and that's when you get unlucky and someone gets a hit and that guy in scoring position comes home. So a walk there when you're already at a 3-0 count, not the worst thing in the world, but you're going to want to get this batter for sure.
And now Jack Robinson is at the plate for the Miners. He flied out to right field in that second inning here with 2 outs. Still a scoreless ball game. Runners on first and second. The pitch is fouled behind home plate for a strike. So an 0-1 count here. Runners on first and second. Stepping off of the hill will be Wilburn. Two outs here, 0-1 count. Wilburn at about 60 pitches so far here in the fourth inning. The pitch, another foul behind home plate towards the screen, makes it 0-2.
And you mentioned 60 pitches here in the fourth already. One of the deeper runs we've seen from a starting pitcher this year for Hoptown. And there's some pitchers throwing in the bullpen, but they're not really warming up. They're just kind of tossing, so it doesn't look like they have any intentions of taking him out soon either.
0-2 pitch is outside and low there for a ball. So a 1-2 count here with 2 outs. One, two, and a balk is called there. So runners advance to second and a third.
Not exactly sure what made that one a balk. The Miners side was asking for a balk earlier whenever he stepped off the mound, so maybe a makeup call.
1-2, breaking ball there is just a bit outside, the umpire says. That makes the count 2-2. So now runners at second and third. Robinson in a 2-2 count here with 2 outs. Again, still scoreless here. 2-2, the pitch is swung on and missed there for the third out. And checking what happened in the top of the fourth inning, there were no hits, no errors, 2 left on base, and no runs scored. We head towards the bottom of the fourth inning. Still a scoreless ball game here, 0-0. This has been Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
For financial advice to be useful, it needs to be tailored to how you live your life. I'm Sue Badgett, branch manager of Bayard's Hopkinsville office. At Bayard, we provide investment and financial planning for all areas of your life: retirement, family and estate plans, and charitable giving. Plus, we coordinate.
HOP.
Leading off the fourth inning for the Hoppers, the designated hitter number 21, Stephen Bell.
Fourth inning action here. Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander. Still a scoreless ball game here between both teams. The Hoppers hosting the Madisonville Miners. Stephen Bell at the plate. He'll swing on the first pitch. He gets it towards the left center field, and it is dropped there. Bell will head towards second, and he slides in. He's good there. A nice stand-up double there from Stephen Bell, as that was more towards the right side of left field. Trying to track that down was the center fielder, Alex DeVito.
I think the left fielder would have had a better shot at that one, but the center fielder was in a full-out sprint right from the get-go, so he calls it off, and just a little bit too far for him, and he's not able to make the play on it.
So now this is the second time in a row now that the Hoppers have started off their first batter, hits a double. Reed Douglas did it in that third inning. You really want to score here if you're the Hoppers. That's going to be just foul there next to third base, and it was close. Looked like it might have hit the line, and they will say foul ball there for a strike. And Stephen Bell with the double, is on second base. And now Luis Vergara, a nice hitter for the Hoppers, with the chance to drive in a run. He's now at an 0-2 count, though, after back-to-back foul balls. He did strike out in that first inning. That was his last at bat. So a runner on second here in the bottom of the fourth inning. No runs scored for either team. And a runner on second. Looks like a fly ball there heading towards right field. It's fouled, and two players went for it. It was the first baseman, O'Connell, and Robinson in right field. Both kind of went for it. And once again, kind of, if one of them had committed, maybe it could have been a catch, but they would have bumped right into each other if both of them tried to get it.
I'll be honest, they may have been called off or called each other off there, because if they make that catch, Stephen Bell is going to advance to third base. Tag up and advance to third base, and they're not going to get that throw from over there, having to turn around, get that ball all the way to third before he makes it. So probably a strategic decision to let that one drop and try to get a strikeout here for an out and leave someone on second.
That's a good point there. There's a runner on second, 0-2 count. It'll be a base hit in between the shortstop and third. Trying to come in will be Bell, and fumbling it there is Cunningham. The throw is hit by the cutoff man, but a score there is Stephen Bell. Advances to home.
Yeah, and Coach Benny at third base has, caught himself several times this season sending somebody running from second and curving around third home when he probably shouldn't have, getting a little antsy. That time, I didn't think he should have sent him, but then the left fielder dropped the ball, and at that point he was clearly going to make it home. But it was a tight one, because that ball was in the left fielder's glove before Bell even made it to third base.
And so now a runner on a second is Vergara, and Carter Hood is at the plate for the Hoppers with no outs, and a 1-0 ball game now. A pop-up towards center field. Vergara is on second. He will try to go towards third. No, he will go ahead and take it back, see how the throw looked. It did look good, so a smart move there from Vergara, as Hood will fly out to center field. So now one out here with the runner on second. Dom Oliverio is at the plate.
Number 10,
Yeah, and a good idea there from Luis Vergara. I don't think he was ever going to make that run to third, but he does now, or the team now gets a look at that center fielder's arm and if he's able to make that throw. So just something, those little things that'll help a team out by doing something like that and making that center fielder throw the ball to third base.
First pitch to Oliverio is a base hit towards right field. Trying to go in is no. He keeps getting me there as Vergara. He'll really look like he's coming off that bag hot, but he comes back. So now runners at first and third.
And you hear someone yell from below us, you got to score on that. And I disagree. I think that ball was close enough. Again, makes it into the right fielder's glove before Vergara makes it to third base. And that time the outfielder is even closer. I think he could have made the throw.
And also, you talk about knowing your personnel. Vergara, not one of the fastest players on this team. So I agree with you. It's smart to keep him here, especially just with one out. As they'll throw over to first as Oliverio slides safe towards the bag. And now Chase Cummings. He had a fly-out ball to center field. And one of those would score in a run as Cummings will swing and miss there for a strike. First pitch there makes it an 0-1 count.
Yeah, and talking about Vergara, he said he's not one of the faster guys on the team. The team does have a lot of fast guys, but I'd say Vergara is probably one of the smarter, more experienced players on the team. So
ball will get loose, and Oliverio will go to second as Callagher couldn't get on top of that ball there.
Yeah, just wild enough to get the runner from first to scoring position and not quite wild enough to bring Vergara home.
So a 1-1 count here now. Runners on second and third. With the one out here. 1-0 ball game here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Pespisa, the pitcher. That shot is going to be towards left field. It will be fielded. Trying to come in, and there is Vergara, and he will make it in time. The pitch just a little right towards home plate, or the throw, excuse me. And now it's second. Is Oliverio. He's going to stay at second there, but a sac fly there from Cummings. As Vergara is able to score. And so now 2 outs here. Once again, a runner on second. Reed Douglas is at the plate.
And a similar look here to Tuesday's game where Hoptown got out to a 2-0 lead. Of course, that was earlier in the game when that happened. Trying not to repeat history here.
Another pitch there called strike. So now a 1-1 count. And a runner at second. 2 outs. Low pitch there for a ball. Makes it a 2-1 count. So a 2-1 count here as Douglas. That pitch just high enough for a strike. Makes it a 2-2 count. Pespisa right at about around 45 pitches in the ball game. A high pitch there for a ball. Makes the count full here with 2 outs and a runner on second. 2 runs have scored into this fourth inning for the Hoppers, making it a 2-0 ball game against the Madisonville Miners. As going towards third, it's a stolen base there. It was close. And they'll call it an out there. Oliverio is out as Froland caught it with his left hand in the glove and had turned to tag out Oliverio. Oliverio shaking his head. He does not like that call there. But being caught stealing there is Dom Oliverio, and that'll be the 3rd out. Checking what happened in this 4th inning for the Hoppers. There were 2 hits and no errors, none left on base. and 2 runs scored. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. The Hoppers lead the Madisonville Miners 2-0 as Coach E.J. Davari having a chat with an umpire. We'll let you know if anything changes after this timeout. Welcome back here. Set start to top of the 5th inning. The Hoppers lead the Madisonville Miners 2-0 here after 2 runs were just scored in the bottom of the 4th. And the Miners now set to bat. It'll be their 9-1 2-hitters. Jace Parnan, Wyatt Cunningham, and Alex DeVito. I want to note, too, I haven't mentioned it yet. I've mentioned it is Military Appreciation Night, but the uniforms for the Hoppers provided to them by Olivet Baptist Church. It's camo uniforms, but their lettering is basically United States, red, white, and blue. Looks like the United States flag. Has a bit of stars action in there as well. Wearing the white pants as well. And the Miners wearing their black uniforms with a darker yellow. I don't want to go as far as gold, but a darker yellow lettering and colored. It has a bit of a stripe action there as well, and some white pants.
And I will say this, last year the Military Appreciation jersey was a little bit more plain, was a white jersey with red, white, and blue on it. And that team wore that jersey throughout the season. It wasn't just a one-time thing because they liked it. And this jersey a little bit more flamboyant, if you want to call it that. I wonder if we will see this again this year if the players agree to wear them.
Breaking ball pitch, called strike there to Parnan. And it definitely is over the top. You talk about combining the camo with the red, white, and blue. It's a bold fashion statement from the Hoppers. Showing bunt there is Parnan right towards the third baseman. It'll be fielded and in time, and easily in time there is Parnan. A nice bunt for hit there. As that'll be the first hit for the Miners. So it comes off of a bunt. Now at the top of the lineup, Wyatt Cunningham is at the plate. Cunningham from Austin, Texas, and goes to the University of Montevideo. Showing bunt again there as it was tipped off of the bat for a strike, but fouled is Wyatt Cunningham. So no 1 count here.
Yeah, not a bad idea. It's hard for pitchers, left-handed pitchers, to field those third base line bunts because they have to turn all the way around to make the throw. So some strategic coaching here from Madisonville.
As another bunt shown that will land in front of Villalobos. He'll throw over to Estrada at second, and it gets past him. So now going to third is Parnan. He'll make it. And Cunningham there. It would have been tight regardless, I believe. I think he did have a chance of being out, but it was the tough throw there from Villalobos to Estrada. Nice job from Estrada to be there at first.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think Villalobos thought he had a chance of making that catch. That bunt just popped up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and world where he doesn't think he has that catch, he probably stays at first, and Reed Douglas is able to make it to the ball and make the throw a little bit easier. So, it's just those quick on-the-fly decisions that a team like this, a younger team, has to learn how to make.
Outside pitch will get past Douglas. They'll throw over to first. It's close. That's an out. And it is there. A nice flick of the wrist there from Reed Douglas as he has a little dance as well at home plate. I believe that's called the floss, is the dance move there.
Yeah, you don't see that very often. Obviously, they try to do that whenever a wild ball gets through and the pitcher needs to come up and make the tag, but very rarely do you see it actually work out there. Caden Wilburn not only able to get the out from the throw from Reed Douglas, but there wasn't really any question about it.
Beautiful tag. Put the glove right next to home plate where he had to hit the glove before hitting the base there. So a 1-0 count, though, after that ball. And throwing over to second is Wilburn there as he kind of stepped off of the bag and threw it to avoid the balk. So 1-0 count. At second base now is Cunningham after the wild pitch. So a 2-0 count now. It's Alex DeVito at the plate. He was hit by a pitch in that third inning.
And it's easy to see why he's way up in the box.
As he'll chop one, fouled by first. First strike in the count makes it 2-1. So a 2-1 count. Here with a 1 out. Outside pitch there, but it goes towards the left of home plate, so staying at second will be Cunningham. 3-1 count now. A 1 out.
And it looks like Wilburn signaling to Douglas 3-1 here, so possibly a pitch that they're planning on using when the count is at 3-1.
Breaking ball, and it looks good there. Breaking ball right down the middle makes the count full. So DeVito at the plate with the full count. And a runner at second. One out here. And that's a foul ball as Cunningham was trying to steal for third. And so the count stays the same here. Again, 2-0 ball game. The Hoppers lead the Miners here on the top of the fifth inning. Runner at second. Full count. They'll throw over to second, and Cunningham is there in time.
Yeah, and Wilburn doing a good job at keeping these runners contained by checking them up at first and second base. They're normally turning on his left shoulder. They're turning all the way around on his right.
Swing and a miss there. Outside pitch, strikeout. As DeVito is retired for the second out. Now up to bat, it's Braden Taylor. He had a fly ball out to left field. That was that one where Vergara had to do some work to get to that ball. As then I mentioned earlier when he was base running how he wasn't one of the fastest on the team, but then earlier in that game he also had an athletic play where he had to chase down a ball in left field. So still has some speed, does Luis Vergara. As that pitch is a strike there to Braden Taylor.
And Wilburn here in the fifth inning, we said this in the fourth inning that he is already having one of the longer starting outings we've seen from a pitcher this year. He's looking pretty much the same now in the fifth that he was in the first.
It's about 75 pitches for Wilburn, as that will be a chopper foul ball towards the Hopper dugout. So a quick 0-2 count here with 2 outs. Taylor had a fly ball out to left field and struck out in the first. He faces the 0-2 count. The pitch is going to be towards the short. It'll get past him. Now trying to go towards home is Cunningham, and unable to make the throw there is Vergara. And at first now is Taylor. Came at Cummings pretty fast there at short.
And we've seen that too many times this year when one of these infielders tries to snag the ball up with their glove and not get their body behind the ball. You know, that's intentional when you do that, so that if the ball gets past your glove, you still can block it, and even if you don't make the throw, keep the runners contained. And just lazy plays like that will bring in a run. We saw a lot of that yesterday.
And so Cunningham scores there to make it a 2-1 ball game now. So we have a meeting on the hill here, as it looks like Carter Hood having some words for Wilburn.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the questioning. Estrada talking to an umpire as well, looking upset about something. So I'm not 100% sure what that would be, but yeah, I would give you a guess, but I really don't know.
So here, a runner on first with 2 outs. It's a 2-1 ball game now. The pitch is in the dirt, and going towards second is Taylor. He makes it there as it hits the chest of Reed Douglas and comes right back at Wilburn. And still holding the chest there is Douglas. Might have got him in that sternum kind of area. He's still holding the chest.
Yeah, that padding you get as a catcher only does so much. Those balls to the body, especially at that speed and ricocheting off the ground, you'll still feel a punch, that's for sure.
Tyler Froland is at the plate for the Miners. It's a 1-0 count. Runner on second, 2 outs. The pitch is hit towards left field, and it is fielded there by Vergara. So into that inning, there was 1 hit, 2 errors, 1 left on base, and 1 run scored. As we check the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard, the Hoppers lead the Miners 2-1. We'll be right back for more bottom of the 5th action here. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Welcome back. It's a bottom of the 5th action here, as the Hoppers lead a 2-1 here, as it hasn't been much action, but 5 hits from the Hoppers compared to 1 for the Miners. And now Miggy Villalobos at the plate as he'll swing on the first pitch towards the shortstop. It's fielded, thrown, and in time there. As Miggy Villalobos will ground out. Now Sam Perkins is at the plate. He had to sacrifice a bunt in that 3rd inning. Swing and a miss on that first pitch. as that pitch will hit Perkins there. I believe it hit the ground first. I thought it hit straight.
Sure, it looked like it hit him, but I mean, I feel like if that hit him, he'd be feeling it. So must not have, because he's not limping around. That was pretty fast to the legs if it hit him. 1-1 count. It looks like pop fly towards second. It is, and it's caught there. There's a nice grab there from Parnan. So now 2 outs here.
Second baseman, number 29, Robert Estrada.
First pitch is a ball. Robert Estrada at the plate now. 0 for 2 so far. Struck out in the first, grounded out to second in the third. Second pitch, a ball as well here with 2 outs. A 2-1 ball game as the Hoppers lead the Miners. Pitch there is a hit towards right center field, and it is fielded there by DeVito. So 3 up, 3 down here for the Hoppers. As in the inning, the Hoppers had no hits, no errors, none left on base, and no runs scored. As we head to the bottom of the 5th inning, checking the Manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Looking for a job, visit Manpower on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville today. Let them connect you with a great position where you can start tomorrow. 2-1 of the score as we head to the top of the 6th inning, excuse me. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Thank you.
This is Hopper Baseball inside Colonel Field as the Hoppers are taking on the Madisonville Miners. A 2-1 lead here as the Hoppers are beating the Madisonville Miners. As Tim Kanzler.
Dylan Eaton.
Dylan Eaton. Okay,
yeah.
So Dylan Eaton is on the plate. I believe there's a mix-up here.
Either that, or we just can't read these numbers because they're a little difficult to see from a distance.
I'm not sure I remember Tim Kanzler rocking a beard like that. so you're positive that's Dylan Eaton?
Yeah, Tim's also a lefty, so that's another difference between the two. I believe Eaton pitched on Tuesday. I'm not 100% sure. I think he did against the Miners and threw pretty well in those innings that he pitched.
Pitch there is hit toward a shortstop, fielded, thrown. It's way too high there, and it'll bounce close there, and it hit the dugout. He'll be ruled safe there. I think since it went towards the dugout, they didn't. It looked close there on the tag from Miggy Villalobos, but the wild throw there will advance Callagher.
Yeah, and just trying to get too cute on that throw and throwing it underhanded. I don't know how you can, as a team 3-8, try to do stuff like that. If I'm being honest with you, you got to get your outs when you can get your outs. stuff like that, trying to be flashy. You know, if you're a team who's well above 500 on the season and you want to throw some stuff like that in, go for it. But a team like this, it needs wins. You can't be doing that.
As that pitch is high for a ball there. Now Will Vance is at the plate. Runner on first now with no outs. Pitch there is a strike. Again, a 2-1 ball game. The Hoppers lead the Miners. Pitch there is a strike there from Eaton.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm surprised, and this doesn't have anything to do with Eaton, who seems to be pitching well so far. I'm surprised Caden Wilburn isn't still pitching simply because I didn't see him really slow down. That that 1 run in the 5th inning, I don't think was really his fault. So just I think he's probably a once-a-week starter. I don't know why they wouldn't just try to throw him as long as they could.
You know, I think what I've learned from Coach Davari and Coach Albans, who's being the pitching coach, is I'm kind of getting, it doesn't matter how necessarily good these pitchers are throwing. They have so many that they still like to throw multiple arms. That'll be a pop fly towards right field, but Estrada's tracking it down, and he gets the grab. Nice job from him as he's playing at second base tonight. Still can't stay out of right field as he goes and gets that one himself. So that's the first out here. Now Connor O'Connell, he's been walked in both of his at-bats in this ball game. And not very good counts either. 3-0 walk and a 3-1 walk.
Yeah, and he's a pretty big guy, so you'd think that big strike zone would help out the pitcher, but seemingly not so far.
First pitch is inside for a ball. 1-0 count. Again, a runner on first with 1 out here. 2-1, Hoppers lead the Miners at bat. Breaking ball outside is a strike here. 1-1 the count. The pitch swung on and missed. Outside swing there makes it 1-2. So runner on first. 1-2 count here. Connor O'Connell, left-handed batter at the plate. High ball there. Makes it 2-2. Might have tried to see there what Callagher would do at first.
Yeah, and the Hoppers now throwing a right-handed pitcher no longer have that advantage at first, so Miners may start to steal more.
As that's a shot towards right field. Diving catch there.
Yeah.
He makes that. Sam Perkins there. As he jumped right in front of the ball there, landed on his stomach and made the grab. Nice job there from Sam Perkins.
Heck of a grab there. Didn't look like he really had any chance at it. Thought that ball was surely going to drop, and quick feet from Perkins to make his way to that ball.
So now, still at first base is Callagher with 2 outs now, and Jack Robinson is at the plate. He struck out in his last at-bat in the 4th inning. As they'll throw over to first, and Callagher is in time. Do want to note, too, Callagher was caught stealing in that 4th. And the pitch swung on and missed there. Inside throw makes it 0-1. Again, a 2-1 ball game here.
Yeah, one of the more closely contested games we've seen this year from Hoptown. Also, seeing them up in a game this late in the game, 6th inning, is something they haven't seen a lot of either.
Swing and a miss is Cunningham will try to steal, and he is safe there as the pitch is outside to the left of Estrada at second. Or no, you said they're calling out?
No, it was a strike.
Strike.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, strike called. Oh, you threw me off there.
No, you're good.
0-1 or 0-2 count now, as the pitch there was called strike. Coach Davari is stepping outside, I think.
Let's count, Blue.
So an 0-2 count.
Yeah, not exactly sure what the coach is.
I think he went to go grab something from Reed Douglas had like a sleeve on.
Oh, okay.
So runner at second now after the stolen base. A 2-2 count, or 0-2 count, excuse me, with 2 outs. High pitch there, first ball makes it 1-2. Again, it's a 2-1 ball game. Runner in scoring position for the Miners to possibly tie things up here. The pitch is outside the throw over to third. It's fielded, but
yeah,
he'll be safe. I think they're going to say that Hood stepped off the bag.
Well, I believe. I mean, that wouldn't really have anything to do with it. It would have to be the tag on the runner, obviously, because he's not forced.
That's true. That's true. You're right.
The ball definitely beat him. The only thing was that Hood kind of caught the ball in his body and then had to make the move. He didn't already have his hand there. So that was a very close one, but I feel like the ball beat him by a lot, so definitely a tight one there.
So a 2-2 count here, or no, 3-2 after that ball and the stolen base there. And an outside pitch there puts runners at the corner as Jack Robinson is walked.
Second baseman, number 26, Jace Arnold.
Kind of the same situation as earlier where walking someone there, not the worst thing in the world because three balls on the count, you have to throw a strike if you want to get the strikeout, and so you're allowing a guy to possibly get the hit and bring in that third base runner. So, having a fresh count here with 2 outs on the board. Now 1 out on the board is different. 2 outs, you'll take your fresh count here and a guy on first.
An outside pitch there is a ball. And Douglas behind home plate is going to come have a chat with Eaton. So a 1-0 count. Here with runners at first and third, Madisonville's coach is going to chat with his runners at first and third. And so 1-0 count here as the infield will meet as well for the Hoppers. A 2-1 ball game with runners at first and third for the Miners, as they are trying to at least tie this ball game here, but 2 outs. And military appreciation night here inside the Colonel Field for the Hoppers. It's a game day brought to you by Olivet Baptist Church. And coming back to the plate is Jace Parnan. As he has one of the only 2 hits for the Miners, and it was a bunt. That was that hit. So 1-0 count here. The pitch is swung on and missed. It was high there, but it looked good to Parnan. He had to swing for it. He missed there. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, after seeing some of these breaking balls from Eaton, I can only imagine the Parnan thought that ball was going to drop near the end.
Showing bunt, but taking it away. It's a strike anyways there. So now a 1-2 count here. 2 outs, and the ball gets loose there, but it stays by home plate, so only stealing or going to second is Robinson. Callagher will stay at third, so now runners at second and third.
Yeah, and here's where things get interesting because the 2s are wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs, and then you have 2 players and 2 runners in scoring position. So a very pivotal moment in the game here for Hoptown and Madisonville, with that being said.
The pitch is fouled there behind the Hopper dugouts. So as you said, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 runners at second and third for the Miners here, down to 2-1.
And we saw that a lot on Tuesday. Same situation. Madisonville was able to convert on a lot of those moments, and that's what led them to winning that game. They got their hits at the right time. So, you know, try to see if Eaton and Hoptown here can stop that from happening tonight and hold on to this slim lead.
As time will be called. It looks like some discussions from the umpires. They're going to have a talk. Coach Albin is coming out of the dugout. So is Coach Estrada. Not sure exactly what the issue is.
It looks like Carter Hood is trying to explain to the umpires what's going on. And and so Davari's going to send him back to third base before he gets in trouble.
Yeah, we saw the minor coach as well at, when Cunningham had got tagged out at second.
And they're going to call the batter out here. Not exactly sure yet what has happened.
As I wish he could get mic'd up, the umpire there. We'd assume
maybe
it took too much time at the plate. That'd be my best assumption. But regardless,
maybe if we get some quiet here, we can try to listen in. But it looks like the coach for Madisonville is not going to do too much complaining. I think he shook his head a little bit, but not going to talk to the umpires about it.
So Parnan is out there. So with runners at second and third, there was 2 left on base here, as it was 1 hit, no errors, and no runs scored. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Hoppers check the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. They lead 2 to Madisonville's 1. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
News Radio WHOP.
Batting for the Hoppers, the designated hitter number 21, Stephen Bell.
Welcome back here inside Colonel Field. The Hoppers leading the Miners 2-1. Stephen Bell at the plate for the Hoppers. As it'll be 2-3-4. That pitch is a strike. And here in the bottom of the 6th inning, on deck is Luis Vergara, the 3 batter, and batting 4th, Carter Hood. So a 1-1 count. Third pitch, excuse me, is a ball, making it 2-1. Bell had a double, as he'll swing and miss there, making it 2-2. He ended up scoring, as he'll hit a chopper towards short. It'll be a high bounce there, as Taylor can't get to it. And advancing to first there is Stephen Bell.
And we've seen that a ton on this field when the ball kind of collides right on the edge of the grass and the dirt, and it just jumps straight over those infielders. I think we've seen it more against the Hoppers than for them so far, but there we see it on the other end. So we know it's not just a curse. It happens on both sides.
Love to see it go the Hoppers' way if you're a Hoppers fan. Outside pitch there for a ball, as Callagher has to stand up. So runner on first here with no outs. Stephen Bell gets his 2nd base hit in a row. The pitch is a strike there.
No, that ball was high. I'll say it. And I only get about 1 or 2 of those a game when I can really question a pitch, but that ball was high. That was not a strike.
1-1 count, fouled, hits the pole to the right behind home plate. So 1-2 count now. Again, runner on first is Stephen Bell for the Hoppers. They lead 2-1 here with no outs. The pitch is low, and it'll get past Callagher, so going to second easily there will be Stephen Bell.
And I'll say this about Bell. Had 3 hits in the last game, struck out at the end, but had 3 hits, already has 2 here. Is on a bit of a hot streak for the Hoppers, so somebody who, you know, Hoppers haven't had a ton of consistent hitting, someone who in early part of the season, starting to trend towards the middle part of the season, someone getting a hot streak isn't a bad look for Hoptown.
As the umpire, or the coach, excuse me, for the Miners is kind of coming in. I can't tell if he was pointing at a player or the umpire. It looked upset here. I think he may have been talking to the umpire.
Well, I'll mention this.
Base.
If he was talking to the pitcher, they do have a pitcher warming up, Madisonville does, in the bullpen. So there's something to think about. This is still the starting pitcher pitching for Madisonville here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes here for Luis Vergara. Just inside there, makes the count full at 3-2. Gonna runner at second with no outs. Hoppers at the plate. And an inside pitch there is called strike. It looks really inside. I guess it was just in that zone enough to be called a strikeout there.
Yeah, and it was in the same exact spot as the ball before it that was called a ball. So, you know, if those pitches are close, I think you have to be consistent. You have to either call them both a strike or both a ball. And the inconsistency is, it always makes you question, you know, what they're really seeing that you're not seeing, because those 2 pitches came in at the same spot.
Low, an inside pitch there called ball. Carter Hood is at the plate. He is 1 for 2 on the day. Had a base hit in the second and had a fly out to center field. As he'll hit a shot there towards the left field, a base hit, and losing the glove there was Cunningham. So scoring will be Bell, and going to second, there is Hood. A nice shot from him.
I believe that's Stephen Bell's 2nd run today scored.
It is.
Center fielder number 10, Dom Oliverio.
3-1 ball game now.
If any of you heard a big bump on the feed there, it was Jamar killing a spider.
A big spider at that. You noticed I got quiet there. It wasn't because I didn't have anything to say. It was because I was focused on something else. I apologize, folks. So a 3-1 score here. As a pitch there makes it an 0-1 count. Dom Oliverio is at the plate. Swing and a miss there on an inside pitch makes it 0-2. And his last at bat, Oliverio had a base hit, but ended up getting tagged out at third. One ball, 1 strike. 1 out here with the runner on second. Ball gets a bit loose there from Callagher, but he's able to grab it before Hood can do anything at second.
And getting Carter Hood to third base here would be huge. So a wild pitch like that, he's itching to get there with only 1 out on the board.
Pitch there is hit towards left field,
That's
backing up forward, and it can't be grabbed there. So trying to come in and score, he will score there as Hood will come in at home, and going to second. There is Dom Oliverio, back-to-back base hits.
And that ball was very close to being the 2nd home run this season for Dom Oliverio. It hits the arm of the left fielder, kind of keeps it in, but just an absolute crushed ball there. And as soon as Oliverio makes his way to second base, he kind of gestures a kicking the door in motion. So some good hitting right now from Hoptown.
He's right. So in left field, Cunningham, he wasn't playing very deep there, so he had to back up for that one as the pitch there will be fouled beside the Hoppers bullpen near right field. So an 0-1 count here. We have a wave going on in the bleachers. Went from one side to the other. That's the best kind of wave you can have there. Hitting both fan sections. So we have another wave that came back. It didn't seem like everyone's participating. Oh, okay, we got a better showing now. A couple of delayed people standing up there.
And that's what happens when your team who hasn't played very well this season starts playing pretty good in a game. You get excited. It's almost more exciting than when your team's really good and they're winning a lot of games. You know, you're used to it. And this team playing really well right now is getting the fans into it.
Chase Cummings is at the plate. Facing a 2-1 count here. Inside pitch there. Makes it 3-1. Oliverio is at second. And you know what? They reached. They called it, as it'll be a meeting, looking over at the box score here on Game Changer. They had ruled that hit from Oliverio as an error. I don't know. I think that was a hard ball to get.
Honestly, I think the left fielder did a good job of keeping that ball from bouncing and going over the fence or going over the fence and being a home run.
Some people say if it touches the glove, or in his case, I guess the arm.
Yeah, good.
I don't call it an error. But
I don't even know if that left fielder was really looking for the ball. He kind of just threw his arms up and blocked it. So I would definitely consider that a hit.
3-1 the count. As that'll be fouled off the bat. Normally I go with what the statistician says, so I'm going to put error. But I'll have to go back and look and see if it gets changed. Maybe Coach Davari will go look, or maybe even Dom will go look at the YouTube broadcast and say, oh, no, that was a hit.
Yeah, I think the left fielder did about as good of a job as he could do to try to get that ball. It was very well hit.
Runner at second. Full count here for Cummings. Pitch is hit towards the second baseman. Fielded, thrown, and out there.
But you'll take that because it advances Oliverio to third base, and you have Reed Douglas, who hits well, coming up to the plate.
And so now you're right, advancing to third is Carter Hood.
Number 17, the catcher, Reed Douglas.
And now Reed Douglas is at the plate. He had a double in the third. A pitch there called ball. So runner on third here. Second pitch, ball as well. So a 2-0 count.
And I'll say this about Reed Douglas. You mentioned earlier in this game how good his on-base percentage is, but really a guy at the plate who has excellent plate discipline, likes to watch a lot of those go by. And he does a pretty good job of walking as well as getting hits.
The 2-0 is outside for a strike. It was a bit outside there, but strike called by the umpire. Make it a 2-1 count. And 2 outs. That ball inside, trying to go towards home, will be Oliverio, and he'll score there. Is Oliverio.
And he does a good job there of, while he's sliding, kind of getting as big as possible and blocking the ball from even getting to the pitcher, getting hit by the ball. I don't think that one hurt too much, considering that throw didn't have too much speed on it, but doing some strategic blocking there, sliding into home.
And so now the one runner on base does score, makes it a 5-1 ball game now. 5-1 the score. As a 3-1 count here for Reed Douglas. The pitch is called a strike there. As Reed didn't do the thing a lot of batters normally do in those 3-1 counts. He didn't try to walk away. I feel like maybe he just knew that was a strike there. Full count pitch is high, so he is going to be able to walk towards first and now. As he is walked. now up to bat, Miggy Villalobos will have a chance to reach base here. He's 0 for 2 on the day. First pitch called strike. So runner on first, 2 outs here, 0-1 count to Miggy Villalobos, the first baseman for the Hoppers, and a 5-1 ball game. Pitch there is hit towards left field, trying to track it down. There was Cunningham. He makes the grab. And checking what happened in the 6th for the Hoppers. And there were 2 hits, 1 error. There was 1 left on base, and 3 runs scored for the Hoppers. We head to the top of the 7th, checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. The Hoppers lead the Miners 5-1. More baseball coming here, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. The Hoppers currently lead here in the top of the 7th inning at 5-1. Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander. Miners up to bat here. Wyatt Cunningham had made that big error that helped reach a run in the last inning for the Hoppers out in left field. As first pitch called a ball, second is a strike here.
And I'll mention this about Dylan Eaton, and I mentioned it on Tuesday's broadcast, how he started that game against Bowling Green. I won't mention the score. That was his game that he started, and apparently, and I was told this, he didn't really want to come into the season as a starter. He wanted to be a reliever, and they just didn't have enough starters, so he started. And with the appearance of Caden Wilburn, he has now started relieving, and clearly has looked much stronger on the mound now that he's doing what I think he came to the Hoppers this summer to do, and that's pitch as a reliever, not as a starter.
So a 1-2 count here after a couple of foul balls. Swing and a miss. There is a strikeout. So first batter is sat down. That's Wyatt Cunningham. Now next up to bat, Alex DeVito. He struck out in his last at-bat in the 5th inning, the left-handed batter. DeVito playing at center field for the Miners. First pitch, strike there. DeVito on the season has a 190 batting average. He does have 2 doubles on the season. Second pitch is a ball, making it a 1-1 count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here. That ball is towards left field. Vergara tries to track it down. He can't get there, but he is able to flick it in front of him with his glove, trying to get it near the ground. So a nice job there to at least prevent it from going behind him. So base hit there from DeVito.
And you mentioned earlier how Davari doesn't like to have pitchers very long in these games. So even though Eaton's pitching well right now, it seems we do have someone warming up in the bullpen.
As a throw over to first. DeVito's there in time. Braden Taylor now at the plate. And a strike called there. Makes it 0-1. Throwing over as trying to go now is DeVito to second as the ball gets past Villalobos. He's going to try to go all the way to third. The throw is fielded, but he makes it in time. So DeVito makes it all the way to third base from first.
And Villalobos looks once again a little shaken up. Already injured that hand earlier in this game. Looks to be holding it again here after that missed catch.
You know, I think it was a different hand, though. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was that left hand where the glove had hit that he had kind of messed up. I could be wrong.
And Coach Davari kind of getting on to Eaton for making that throw. Probably didn't need to do that there. Don't even know if that runner had too much of a lead.
And here with the 5-1 lead at the top of the 7th, you do want to play careful baseball here. As you're playing defense here now, if you're the Hoppers in just the scoreboard mindset. As you have that cushion, you want to keep it with the runner now on third. And an 0-1 count to Taylor. That's an inside pitch there, making it 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here. Runner on third for the Miners. The pitch from Eaton is down the middle for a strike there. 1-2 now the count. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball is fouled there. Having to reach for it there was Taylor on the outside throw.
Yeah, and picking up this out right now would be huge considering you have a runner at third base, 2 outs, you're in a much better position. So Eaton needs to go all out to make sure he can get this runner out, whether it's a pop-up or a strikeout, but you got to get it done.
Count remains the same at 1-2 after the foul ball. The pitch is high there. Jumping up for that one was Douglas, making it a 2-2 count. So 2-2, 1 out. The pitch is going to be a pop fly towards center field, and it'll be thrown and straight to the catcher there to Reed Douglas. A nice throw from Oliverio, and staying at third will be Taylor, or excuse me, DeVito. So kind of wanted to see what that throw would look like, and it was perfect.
And the third base runner kind of chatting it up with Dylan Eaton, and Reed Douglas, after he made that catch, kind of showed the ball off to the runner at third base just to, I guess, flaunt just a little bit, and the third base runner never goes back and tags up, so Eaton tells him to go ahead and try to run it.
As we're going to see a pitching change. It looks like Cannon Anthony is going to come in.
Now pitching for the Hoppers, number 20, Cannon Anthony.
And so in the middle of an inning here, after an out, we're going to see a Cannon Anthony. As we'll take a timeout, let him warm up, throw a few pitches here. The score 5-1 with a runner on third for Madisonville with 2 outs. Up to bat will be Tyler Froland for the Miners. As we'll take a timeout here, checking the Manpower Hopkinsville scoreboard. Once again, 5-1. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Radio, WHOP.
A new pitcher in for the Hoppers here. It's Cannon Anthony with 2 outs already and a runner on at third. 5-1 ball game. The Hoppers lead, and it'll be the 4th batter in the lineup here with 2 outs for the Miners, Tyler Froland.
And I'll say this about Cannon Anthony. He's a pitcher who, in his first appearance, he played in that first game of the season against Bowling Green, was the reliever that came out of the bullpen first, struggled, and since then has been pretty solid for this team. I'd say he's probably the 3rd top reliever after Girard and Dilday. It's probably him or McTire, and you know, he's one of those players that, and not everyone's done this, where they've progressively gotten more comfortable throughout the season, and so you hope to see that continue tonight.
I agree. I mean, you say that too. As Cannon Anthony, I think as well, he does have some speed coming off of the mound as well. He's able to throw some nice fastballs.
Third baseman, number 34, Tyler Froland.
But he's coming into an interesting position here because there are 2 outs on the board, but there's a runner at third, and you know, these first few pitches are probably not going to be his best. You know, it usually takes a couple for them to get warmed up, so they're hoping he can get out here and get through this inning.
A high pitch there for a ball makes it 1-0 to start things here for Froland and Anthony. Like you mentioned, a runner on third here. 5-1 ball game. Hoppers lead. Miners at bat. That's a foul ball behind the Chick-fil-A broadcast booth.
Be sure and find that foul ball. Return it to the merchandise tent for a flight-tested Huckleberry Drives.
So 1-1 count here with 2 outs. Froland at the plate. The pitch is swung on and missed there. That's that heat I was talking about on that fastball there. Making it a 1-2 count. The 1-2 pitch is going to be a pop fly near shortstop. He couldn't see it, so a run will score. And staying at first there is Froland. So a run does come in as DeVito scores for the Miners, making it now a 5-2 ball game.
Yeah, and I don't think that was one of those situations where a ball gets lost in the light. I think Cummings thought that was going farther than it was and thought it was going to be Vergara's catch, and I think Vergara and everyone else out there thought it was going to be Cummings' catch, and it probably was Cummings' catch. It lands just behind him. And so he doesn't follow it off the bat and loses it, never really can track it.
Outside for the first pitch for a ball. A 1-0 count. Now runner at first for the Miners. Christian Callagher at the plate. Second pitch is high and inside to make it a 2-0 count. Still a 3-run lead here for the Hoppers. And so want to keep it that way at minimum if you're the Hoppers here at the top of the 7th. The pitch there will be chopped to second, and it's fielded by Estrada, thrown to Villalobos at first. And that's the 3rd out there. As in that 7th inning for the Miners, there was 1 hit, 1 error, none left on base, or 1 left on base, excuse me, and a 1 run scored. It is the 7th inning stretch brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Visit them today on Fort Campbell Boulevard and download the Chick-fil-A app for online ordering. Checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Hoppers lead the Miners 5-2. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you also by Chick-fil-A. It's the bottom of the 7th inning here. The Hoppers set to bat as they lead the Madisonville Miners 5-2. 1 run was just scored in that top of the 7th for the Miners. And a new pitcher, Luke Osborne for the Miners from Oakland City University. Right-handed pitcher from Perryville, Indiana.
And kind of an interesting look as he's throwing his warm-up pitches. Kind of starts his motion throwing overhanded, and then at some point kind of switches into a sidearm, and the ball leaves sidearm. So a much different look here for these Hopper batters.
As leading off is Sam Perkins. It'll be 9-1-2 to start things off here for the Hoppers. Sam Perkins, Robert Estrada, and Stephen Bell. The first pitch from Osborne is a strike there. So an 0-1 count. Breaking ball is fouled behind the Hoppers bleachers.
Be careful chasing those foul balls.
So an 0-2 count now. And just outside there for a ball. 1-2 now the count. The 1-2 pitch is going to be grounded towards short, and it's bobbled there as Perkins reaches on the air.
Yeah, and that would have been close anyway. Perkins is a really fast player. That would have been a close play, whether he gets that ball or not, but an error will make sure that Perkins ends up at first.
And it looks kind of routine there towards Taylor. Maybe seeing Perkins' speed in his peripheral vision maybe intimidated him a bit trying to make that grab.
Yeah, and it was kind of slow, so Perkins had plenty of time to run as well.
As a chopper there will go towards second, tagging out. Perkins throwing to first. And he does tag Perkins, but Perkins evades him, so the throw at first can't be made to Estrada. It swung on that first pitch.
Designated hitter number 21, Stephen Bell.
As I say that, I'm not sure if there was an out. As Perkins is staying on the bag, they'll have a discussion. I did see the out notion.
Yeah, they're going to talk about that, but I think they're also going to look at first base here because I think they're wanting like obstruction, and I'm not sure because it looked like they were pointing towards first as well, or at least Coach Reed at first base was. So maybe a couple things here to discuss for the umpires.
So Estrada does reach first on fielder's choice. And Perkins is believed to be out at second. He has not left the bag yet. And so Perkins will just be called out there. So now 1 out. And up to bat now, Stephen Bell. 2 back-to-back hits for him in this ball game. A double in the 4th and a single in the 6th. Also has scored both of the times that he has reached the base for the Hoppers. Swing and a miss there. Early swing there. Makes it an 0-1 count. Again, Estrada is at first, known for his speed on the bases. The 0-1 count, as I say that, Estrada trying to steal second. The throw, it was close. Safe is the call as Taylor has his hands on his head there. Is he surprised at that one? It did look close.
Was definitely close. It was a great throw as far as getting that ball in the right spot where the shortstop really didn't have to move to make the tag. The ball was already there, but you know, it's hard to see that. First things first, hard to see that second base now covered in dirt from our angle. And second thing is Robert Estrada is a notably really good runner.
If
so
that was anyone just a bit slower, it would have been out.
He's going to stay there, and there's not going to be too much questioning about it.
1-1 count now for Stephen Bell. Again, Osborne has checked in his pitcher for the Miners. That pitch is a strike there. And Luke Osborne.
So Stephen Bell here trying to extend his hot streak, which would also get someone like Robert Estrada, the third base most likely. So another pivotal moment here for the Hoppers, who are winning but are not winning by too much and would like to get a few more runs on the board.
1-2 count. Estrada will steal, trying to go for second, third. Bell does strike out. They'll throw, and the throw is in time as Bell will strike out. But reaching third is Estrada there. So 2 back-to-back stolen bases from him. Now Luis Vergara will come to the plate. 2 outs here. A 5-2 ball game. The Hoppers lead the Miners. Runner on third. Outside pitch there is called ball.
Yeah, and Luis will walk here if he needs to walk, but he does not want to walk. He wants to get this third. He wants to get Robert Estrada, who's at third base, in the home, and he's one of the more experienced players on this team, so they're hoping he does.
Back-to-back outside pitches make it 2-0 now. And he did have a base hit in the 4th inning, but he's 1 for 3. His other 2 outs have all come via strikeout. So a 2-0 count here with the runner on third with 2 outs. The pitch is fouled behind home plate, and it bounces, hits the screen, and I believe it hits the back of Callagher, the catcher, as he looks over at the dugout and puts a thumbs up. Just nipped him a bit, I think.
Yeah, and we talked about that the other day as far as imagining if these balls, if they bounced off the standing poles behind home plate, if they'd be live, and that'd be a position where it would have been an out.
As inside pitch, there's the ball. Looked close, but 3-1 now the count.
And the Hoppers fans sitting behind home plate are begging for a balk to be called against this pitcher.
And now a ball will land in front of the center fielder for a base hit, and Estrada will score easily. So a nice base hit there from Luis Vergara and an RBI. As that's his second one of the ball game, as he drove in Stephen Bell in the 4th. So now 6-2 a ball game. Hoppers lead. 2 outs here. A pop fly will be fielded there as Carter Hood is out for the 3rd out in that inning. There was 1 hit, one error, excuse me. There was 1 left on base and 1 run scored as we check the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. 6-2. We head to the top of the 8th inning. This has been Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
For financial advice to be useful, it needs to be tailored to how you live your life. I'm Sue Badger.
It's the top of the 8th inning here at Colonel Field. The Hoppers lead the Madisonville Miners 6-2. Pitching for the Hoppers now is Chase Gruno, the main closer for this squad. And it'll be Will Vance at the plate for the Miners. Vance is 0 for 3 on the day.
Designated hitter number 28, Will Vance.
And I will say, I think he was 0 for 2 when he hit that 3-run home run on Tuesday, so don't doubt him yet. He's a guy with a lot of power on that bat.
As he hits a shot right there to left field, it bounces in front of Vergara there. And that was all you, Ethan, right there.
Yeah, I'll take blame for that one. And I think we said this yesterday. Chase Gruno pitched 1 inning. I think it was the 5th inning yesterday, where I said he has so much speed that when these guys get a barrel on it, it's going to go deep. It's not going to be an infield play. So, very first batter there, we see that already.
So, base hit there from Will Vance gets his first hit of the night. And now Connor O'Connell comes to the plate. Pitch there right down the middle for a strike. So an 0-1 count. O'Connell 0 for 1 on the day. He's been walked twice. And his last at-bat had a fly ball out to center field. So no outs here. Runner on first. 6-2 ball game. Hoppers lead. And that pitch just outside for a ball makes it 1-1. Miners batting. Hoppers pitching here. 1-1 count. On deck is Jack Robinson for the Miners. Inside pitch there. Breaking ball was in the right spot height-wise, but just a bit inside makes it a ball. So 2-1 now the count.
Yeah, Reed Douglas will turn around and ask him exactly where that ball missed, just because we're looking at 2 pitches there back-to-back that definitely could have been called strikes.
That pitch there just a bit outside. As 3-1 now the count. We've got some angry Hoppers fans. 3-1 the count. As that is a foul ball behind home plate. As we have a particular Hopper fan here is upset about these calls. Says the ball came too fast. The umpire couldn't see it. Full count here. 3-2 count. The pitch is low and inside there. Is all Douglas can do is kind of sit there and pause behind home plate as he feels like those pitches are good.
Yeah, I want to say there was 3 or 4 pitches there that could have been called strikes. I'm not going to say should have been because we don't have the best angle in the world, but you would expect out of 4 pitches that are on the borderline that at least one of them would have got called, and not a single one did. So, angry Hoppers fans here trying to seal a win that they haven't seen too many of. Not surprising.
6-2 ball game. Runners at first and second with no outs here. A high pitch there, check swing. So a 1-0 count.
So fast you can't see it.
Runners on to first and second. Again, that's 6-2 the score. The pitch is low and outside there, and I'll tell you what, it looks like Gruno is really clipping the corners here.
Yeah, that one right there, that pitch. Well, the first one that was called a ball was probably on the higher side, but again, after those pitches in the last at-bat were on the lower end that could have been called a strike, he tries to throw one higher, see if the ump strike zone is a little bit up, and he doesn't call that one either. So he's struggling to figure out where he needs to throw this ball right now because he's tried several different spots, and the umpire's just not giving it to him.
And so Douglas will leave the mound and come back behind home plate after a chat with Gruno. 2-0 is the count here. Facing Jack Robinson, runners on first and second. The pitch is swung on and missed there. Can't deny that strike. So a 2-1 count now. Runners on first and second. The pitch, breaking ball, fouled. That makes the count even at 2-2. That ball went behind home plate towards the screen.
Yeah, and so far from Gruno this season, most of his innings have been the 9th inning, but he's a pitcher who I think in all of his appearances has only pitched 1 inning. So they do have a couple pitchers warming up in the bullpen. I'm not sure if they'll throw Gruno for that 9th inning or not, but you can't really be sure with a guy who has only pitched one inning at a time this season.
2-2, another foul ball there as Robinson stays alive in the plate. And that one once again behind home plate. As Nixon Grace gets an applause as he's working behind these home plate fouls. 2-2 count, runners at first and second. No outs here. Bruno on the mound. Looks at second, throws. That ball is low and in the dirt. It'll be loose, but not going anywhere. The runners at first and second. So a nice job there from Douglas to keep it in front of him. And now we have a full count here. Again, a 6-2 ball game. The Hoppers are leading here with the Miners. Runners in first and second. And Robinson here facing a full count. The pitch is outside. And it gets past Douglas. So that'll be a walk and load up the bases here. And you have a player like Bruno, no outs here. The bases are loaded.
Second baseman, number 26.
And you think to yourself, and you know how skilled Bruno is, so you maybe not worry as much. We do have a player in the bullpen right now. Can you make out who that is?
Yeah, I believe it's Jackson McTire.
Jackson McTire possibly will come into this game with the bases loaded now. And up to bat, Jace Parnan. Outside pitch there for a ball. As Parnan
Relax, Chase.
had a base hit in the 5th inning, but his last at-bat in the 6th was a time violation. So he was out due to that. Pitch there. And finally gets that corner called strike in the outside.
And now you see it because that pitch was closer to the outside. It's probably more of a ball than some of those pitches we saw earlier. So maybe that's where the strike zone is. Bruno's probably going to start trying to throw it over there.
Swing and a miss there makes it 1-2. Again, facing the loaded bases here is Bruno. With no outs, 1-2 count. The pitch will be fouled there as it goes just right outside of the field by the dugout, the Hoppers dugout. 1-2 remains the count here for Jace Parnan. Bruno has been throwing a lot of fastballs here. I think exclusively fastballs. The pitch is high there, evening the counts at 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes here. The pitch, breaking ball, that'll be a foul ball as it will go behind the Hoppers bleachers, keeping the count the same at 2-2. So a 2-2 count here with Jace Parnan at the plate. The pitch is hit towards center field as Oliverio tracks it down.
Oh,
It
no.
gets out of the glove there. So a run will score going towards second. And running forward hard there was Robinson as he thought that was going to be a routine catch, but an error there from Oliverio will advance a run.
Yeah, and that's absolutely brutal. I mean, you get full bases and a chance for an out, and they're probably going to keep that runner at third there as well, just to not risk having 2. And we've already seen Oliverio make a throw to home that was pretty accurate, so I would assume they would have kept that runner at third as well if he had made that catch, because it was close enough to where he would have made the throw. And all of a sudden, there's still no outs, and there's another run on the board, and the bases remain loaded.
And you're now back at the top of the lineup here. As 6-3 score here. As that'll be, it looks like an infield fly going towards a short, and it drops there. So,
Infield fly rule there, so that will be an out.
Center fielder number 8, Alex DeVito.
And they just let it drop there with the bases loaded. So Cunningham is retired. And that's the first out. Bases are still loaded, and Coach Albin is coming towards the mound. And it looks like he's going to have a few words. But it doesn't seem to be a substitution. There is someone approaching near the bullpen. But no ball has been handed yet. So I believe they are going to keep Gruno there. So it's one out. The bases remain loaded. As Albin will make his way back towards the dugout. And Gruno does stay on the mound. Now Alex DeVito will be batting for the Miners. And we're looking at a 6-3 ball game.
This would be an absolutely massive out here for Gruno, because on deck is a batter, and excuse me for forgetting his name, who, like I said, struck out 4 times on the game on Monday and has a high strikeout count. I think he struck out in his first at bat in this game as well. So someone that they might want to get with that third out.
And so DeVito at the plate now, the 1-0 count here. Second pitch is a ball as well. And it was a rough fly ball out to center field that drove in a run. It was in the air and looked like it was in the glove of Oliverio until it wasn't, which advanced the run. Pitch there with some speed. It's called strike. 2-1 now the count for DeVito. Again, Gruno on the mound for the Hoppers. And a 6-3 ball game. A tying run on first. Bases loaded here. Inside pitch there is called a ball.
I'll say this, and I don't know if those are strikes or balls or what, but that's the same pitch that was just called a strike. You got to be, you just have to be consistent. You have to either call them both balls or both strikes. There's just no excuse for that. If you call them both a ball and you get yelled at, so what? But you have to be consistent.
That ball is high and outside, which will walk DeVito, and that also advances a run from third. So O'Connell will score. Coach Alvin will come have a meeting, and I believe they are going to go ahead and come bring in a Hoppers player from the pitching staff. So DeVito walks. O'Connell will score. Advancing to third is Robinson, and Harnan goes to second.
And you have to imagine, if you're Gruno, I mean, this is more, of course there were some walks there that were probably walks, but you have to imagine that he's thinking at least one of those walks was probably a strikeout, and then that fly ball to center field should have been an out there. So, getting taken off with only 1 out on the board, when in reality he probably should have got through the inning based on the work that he did.
6-4, the score here. It's not exactly sure. We assume a Jackson McTire. I think that is who is on the mound. So he'll get some warm-up pitches. Want to go ahead and take this time to check our manpower of Hopkinsville. A scoreboard looking for a job, visit Manpower on Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville today. Let them connect you with a great position where you can start tomorrow. The score is a 6-4 with the bases loaded and 1 out, as we will have more top of the 8th action coming up after this broadcast brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Jackson McTire is on the mound for the Hoppers, as the bases are loaded here with 1 out. And what do you believe it's going to take from McTire here with the bases loaded with 1 out?
I was just about to say McTire has been a very solid pitcher for this team this year, one of the 2, him and Gruno, that are probably considered closers. And he has a chance here to really be the hero of this game if he can get out of this inning as soon as possible. And they'll pitch him in the 9th as well. So he is a real shot here to be the hero in this game, which would be massive, a win here for Hoptown.
And you talk about it, Hoppers do not want to give up this lead in the position that they were in here at home, as well as that first pitch is high and outside for Braden Taylor at the plate for the Miners. Again, bases loaded here with 1 out, a 6-4 ball game. As breaking ball there was close to hitting Taylor there. You think about it, might have wanted to just take that one on the back there, but he backed up a bit.
Yeah, and this is when the pressure gets real, because the Miners dugout can feel it, feel the momentum switching, and they're getting into it.
As he's getting pumped up is Taylor, yelling towards the dugout of the Miners. 3-0 now the count after 3 back-to-back balls. And that pitch is a strike there, just a bit inside, or outside, excuse me.
Excuse me.
So a 3-1 count now. Swing and a miss there, fills up the count at 3-2. So what started off as 3-0 is now a 3-2 count, as McTire on the hill is facing Braden Taylor.
I'll say this, if Taylor strikes out here, he's going to hear it.
The pitch. Swing and a miss there. And what a pitch there from McTire, and from a 3-0 count, as you heard it. And if you were listening to the fans, you heard them as well. You mentioned it, that caused an uproar there. Nice strikeout there.
Not only because of the strikeout, but also because of his yelling at the dugout. Of course, now he's sitting in the dugout. So the fans are going to get into that when you have a big momentum shifter like that strikeout.
High pitch there for a ball, and a great job there from McTire. You ended up throwing 3 balls in a row with a 3-0 count with the bases loaded. And it made it possible, as that will be a broken bat there, and the ball will get loose near the bleachers, and it lands right in front of a young lady in the bleachers.
I'll say this about the Hoppers fans, you know they're watching the games, because whenever a ball like that goes loose, they do a pretty good job of clearing out. As you can see now, that row where that ball hit is clear right now.
And see, no one thought to maybe try to go for the catch. They said,
no.
We're going to stay away here. As Froland needs a new bat.
Yeah, most of the time when you see a broken bat like that, the ball will not go that far. It'll stay in. That time he still pops it up.
As that's a grounder foul beside third. Was close on the line though, but ended up going way past third once it got momentum.
Yeah, that's a tight one though. This scary, makes you sit up on your seat just a little bit, because a ball like that hit perfectly and it's going to get past the third baseman and probably score at least one.
So a 6-4 ball game here. 1-2 count with the bases loaded. High pitch there makes it 2-2. Big point in this ball game here. McTire came on and struck out Braden Taylor. Now with the chance here to get the third out in this inning. The 2-2 pitch is grounded towards third, fielded, and it'll be tagged there at third as Hood steps on the bag. And that'll be the third out of the top of the eighth. And that inning there was one hit for the Miners, one error, 2 left on base, and 2 runs scored. As we head to the bottom of the eighth inning, checking the manpower of Hopkinsville scoreboard. Hoppers lead the Miners 6-4. This is Hoptown Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Whether it's Planters Bank's main campus in downtown Hopkinsville, Planters in
News Radio WHOP.
Welcome back here, 6-4. These scores, the Hoppers lead the Miners. Here in the bottom of the eighth inning, the Hoppers up to bat. Dom Oliverio will start things off as he reached on an error in his last at-bat. Some would say it was a base hit towards left field. First pitch, breaking ball is strike there, just at the bottom of the strike zone.
Yeah, and that's actually one I was expecting Oliverio to swing at. Kind of dropped in, looked like I could see what it was going to do. I figured he'd swing on that one, likes those low balls.
Outside pitch, way outside, should I say, will get past Callagher for a ball. So a 1-1 count now.
Sure, the Hoppers are playing cautious now, trying to take every opportunity to advance this lead.
Swing and a miss there. Late swing there for a strike. So a 1-2 count. Oliverio at the plate. The pitch is going to be hit towards right field with some distance. It's trying to be fielded.
He lost it. Oh.
And he does make it. Right. I believe he did lose it. Went back and then went right in front of him. And a nice job there from Robinson.
And he put his head down while making that run. I don't know if he tripped or something to that effect, but he put his head down and lost the ball and then had to turn all the way back around and step back up after running that far back and make the low catch. He caught that at his knees.
Chase Cummings now at the plate. As he's 0 for 2 on the day. High pitch there for a ball. 1 out now. And it's a 0 count, 1 out, and a strike called there. It looked like it was almost going to hit Cummings there, but just dropped right there in the middle. A 6-4 ball game here. Hoppers do lead the Miners. As that's a low pitch there, making the count 2-1. We are here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And that pitch called a strike. Looked a bit high there. Cummings does have some height. Made the strike zone a bit bigger there. And that's a strike call. 2-2 the count. Swing and a miss there as Cummings strikes out for the second out. The Hoppers will be in action tomorrow on the road, a 3-game road trip. They'll take on Muhlenberg County. Saturday, they'll be taking on the Louisville Jockeys. That game being played in Georgetown, thank you. And Fulton, they'll play that game on a Sunday.
A pretty brutal road trip, I will say. Those are 3 pretty distant places, especially Georgetown and Fulton, 2 of the, I'd say, 3 farthest drives for this team all year, back-to-back, and Muhlenberg is not close either. So, you know, we'll see what these Hoppers are really made of when they have to make that 3-game road trip.
So a 1-0 count here. 2 outs. Reed Douglas, he's at the plate. A strike there called. That was another one of those breaking balls that, with the right-handed batter, looks like it's almost going to hit him, and then it just drops in right there in the inside strike zone.
Yeah, I actually thought that ball was going to hit him. It looked until the very end like it was going to hit him.
1 ball, 1 strike, swing and a miss there. Makes it a 1-2. Here with 2 outs. So a 1-2 count here, 2 outs. The pitch from Osborne is going to be a foul ball behind the Hoppers bullpen in near right field.
Fetch that ball and return it to the merchandise stand. Weird beard Giles.
So 1 ball, 1 strike. And 2 outs here.
I believe 2 strikes, actually. I think the scoreboard's off.
You are correct, thank you. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was a foul ball just now, so 2 strikes for sure as the count stays the same. A 1-2 count, 2 outs to pitch. Another one inside and just clips that strike zone there as Douglas strikes out. As in the top of the 8th there, or bottom of the 8th, excuse me, there was no hits, no errors, none left on base, and a no run scored. So we head to the top of the 9th inning as the Miners have 1 more chance with the 6-4 lead for the Hoppers. This broadcast being brought to you by Chick-fil-A. And so batting will be a Callagher for the Miners. It'll be the 5, 6, 7 batters. Callagher, Vance, and O'Connell. First pitch is high for a ball there. So a 1-0 count. That pitch called strike there, evens the count at 1-1. Getting near the top of the ninth inning, Hoppers lead 6-4. That's a swing and a miss there, making it 1-2. Again, Christian Callagher is at the plate. And a check swing there was a bit high. They'll say he didn't go. It was close, but that will even the count back up at 2-2. Again, want to note this game day is brought to you by Olivet Baptist Church. Breaking ball is hit towards Estrada, and it gets past him there for a base hit. Or an error there by Estrada. So now Callagher is at first. Will Vance. And it looks like there will be a substitution here.
Yeah, the Miners are going to pull out all the breaks here to try to win this game. So no surprise there, sending a quick runner to first.
Michael Morales from Orlando, Florida, from the University of Health Science and Pharmacy School.
Be honest, didn't know they had baseball teams at pharmacy schools.
I didn't know that either.
You know, if there's any sport for a baseball or any sport to be at a pharmacy school, it would be baseball. I feel like for some reason some of these colleges are just crazy.
Outside pitch there. As Will Vance is at the plate. Want to mention he had a base hit in his last at bat in the 8th inning, and he also had a home run against the Hoppers, 3-run homer to be exact, in their last game just 2 days ago. There's a home run here would tie this ball game up. Runner on first. It's Morales. Ball gets past Douglas, so Morales will head over to second. So now a runner at second with no outs here. And Will Vance at the plate with facing a 2-0 count. So it looks like we do have some action in the bullpen. And it looks like a left-handed pitcher. For the Hoppers. As that'll be a chopper in between second and third. It will be a base hit going towards third. Will be Morales. And a base hit there from Will Vance, back-to-back for him. There's now runners at first and third. And a 6-4 ball game. Looks like we have another substitution here, number 24. Looks like.
And I'll be honest there, I'm not 100% sure why Luis Vergara didn't throw that ball to third. I think the runner thought he might and was kind of stalled up between second and third. And then once Vergara slowed up and lobbed it to second, he went to third. But, you know, maybe you don't get the out if you throw him to third there, but you definitely would keep him at second.
Only thing I'm thinking maybe is once he saw him going there was he didn't want runner from first to go to second and also don't want to throw a bad ball there. So now runners at first and third. Check swing there. And they'll say he didn't go. It was close. But now Connor O'Connell is at the plate. Left-handed batter. 1-0 count he's facing now. High pitch there makes it 2-0. Runners at first and third. 6-4 ball game here at the top of the ninth. As the Miners are trying to keep this game going here. Two-0 pitch. is a strike there as it clips the outside corner.
Yeah, McTire's going to have to retire one of these batters here and keep these runners where they are. You have to get at least one out on the board and not load these bases.
2-1 count. The pitch is low there for a ball. I believe it might have bounced off the dirt. So now a 3-1 count here with runners at first and third. A risk of loading the bases here for McTire on the bump. 3-1 is fouled there behind the visiting bleachers. As it is a race for that ball in the field behind us. Full count now after that foul ball. Another big pitch here from McTire. Here it is, and it's hit towards left field. It will be caught going towards home. The throw from Vergara will be thrown. Oh. It is outside of the home plate area for a run. So Callagher will come in and score, staying at first. Or excuse me, not Callagher, Morales will come in and score. And Shirley will stay at first.
So that's the game-tying run at first. And stepping up now is a player who played in the game on Tuesday. I believe that's Ben Combs. So that's another substitution, if I'm correct, number 31. And he was a decent hitter on Tuesday. And he will be the game-winning run stepping up to the plate.
And you are right, Ben Combs from Centralia College is a right-handed pitcher and a first baseman from Spokane, Washington. So now runners, or just a runner, excuse me, at first. A 6-5 ball game. Inside pitch there is a ball. One out here. The pitch is low there for a ball. So a 2-0 count. As Ben Combs will come in for Jack Robinson. The 2-0 pitch is swung on and missed there, making it 2-1. Again, 6-5 ball game. Runner at first. A 2-1 count here with one out. Eighth batter in the lineup is a pinch hitter, Ben Combs. That pitch there is called a ball. Maybe, as the umpire signals too high there. Ben Combs has some size, though, so you think maybe get, with him being taller, better strike zone. But no, 3-1 is the count now. That ball is hit towards right field, and it is caught there by Perkins. So now 2 outs here. And it is all up to Jace Parnan as Ben Combs has some words for Jace Parnan, maybe trying to give him some advice. But down to 1 out here, 6-5. And a good thing for the Hoppers is their runner on bases at first. So even a base hit here, there's a good chance it wouldn't bring in the run. First pitch is a strike there.
And you said that the runners at first. I was thinking this when Combs was at the bat or at the plate that a double play would have been beautiful, but you have that force at second and first right now.
So 0-1 the count. Breaking ball is high there for a ball. So 1-1 the count. Again, Miners down to their possible last out here in the top of the ninth. Foul ball there goes behind the Hoppers bleachers. That makes it 1-2. So we'll see, looks like the claps are coming here.
And once again, the fans getting into the whole clapping action. Once again, doing it a little bit too early, but, you know, it's good to see him in the game.
1-2 count, 2 outs. The pitch, trying to steal towards second to throw. It is not in time as Estrada has to jump up there. And sliding there was Shirley. So Shirley wrote a second. That pitch was a ball, by the way, making the count 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Miners down to their last out here in the top of the ninth, being down 1 run, 6-5. Jackson McTire on the mound. The pitch will be grounded towards third. It's fielded. The throw in time for the Hoppers win. As the Hoppers win the ball game 6-5, a bit of a scare in the top of the ninth inning as McTire there with some great pitching on display. As a checking what happened in the ninth inning, there was 1 base hit and no errors. There was 1 left on base and 1 run had scored, but it wasn't enough as the Hoppers get the victory 6-5. A great job here getting a win for the home crowd and on Military Appreciation Night as the Hoppers come out on top 6-5 here. As the Hoppers will be on the road, but we'll talk about things in our post-game show here. Once again, the Hoppers 6, Madisonville Miners 5. We'll take a timeout as this broadcast is brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Mornings at 8 on Hoptown's News Radio, 99.3 WHOP.
And welcome back here for our post-game show. As our game summary is brought to you by North Trust Insurance, serving Medicare customers with prescription and drug plans, Medicare supplement plans, and Medicare Advantage. Visit them today at 305 North Drive or call 270-885-0811. As the Hoppers defeated the Madisonville Miners in a rematch from Tuesday, 6-5. And a great showing from the Hoppers. Was a bit scary towards the end of the game as the Hoppers were down up 2 runs in the top of the ninth. The Miners did score 1, but that was all that they did. So a 6-5 ball game. Ethan, tell me your thoughts on this ball game.
Yeah, I think the story of tonight is just doing what you need to do to win. No one hitter was exceptional, but as a team, they did what they needed to do to get those 6 runs on the board. The pitching for Madisonville was fine, so you couldn't rely on walks, and so they went out there and they got hits where they needed to get them. And it was kind of a different look than what we saw from them on Tuesday whenever they got those hits, but it wasn't at the right time tonight. They got less hits than they did on Tuesday, but 4 more runs, so showing that they were capable of doing it when they needed to. And then the pitching just coming out and like the hitters, doing what they needed to do to win. There were some scary moments. The Hoppers let the Miners come back and score 4 runs in the final 3 innings, but they did a good job to stop bleeding when they needed to, the pitching and defense that being. And the hitters did just enough to get enough runs to where it made it easier on the pitching and defense to keep those Miners runs lower than 6.
As it looks like we do have Jackson McTire here. As we're going to try to chat with him. As we're going to go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we'll hear from McTire and discuss his final performance here as he closed out things here at Colonel Field. So quick timeout here. Once again, Hoppers did defeat the Miners 6-5. We'll be right back with more of our postgame show brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
It pays to learn about. Joe P.
And welcome back here inside Colonel Field as the Hoptown Hoppers defeat the Madisonville Miners, as Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander, and we are joined by Jackson McTire. Congratulations on the win, sir. Tell me your final thoughts of going through that last inning.
I knew I came in and, the bases were juiced, so I went 3-0 to start the first kid off. We got a little nervous. I just had to settle down because the game wasn't as big as I thought it was. So settled down, threw some strikes, got out of that inning, and then just went after it the next inning, got it done.
As well, go ahead and let you know, our player of the game brought to you by Skyline Animal Clinic and Oak Grove Animal Hospital, who supports all the area schools, athletes, and students. Skyline Animal Clinic has been your source of veterinary care for small animals since 1956. Call them today for all your pets and veterinary needs. Jackson, you were our player of the game. I mean, the performance there towards the end, you talk about that 3-0 count, to put it to a full count and then throw that strikeout was a huge moment in this game. So congratulations on that. Ethan, I'll let you say anything on that.
Yeah, I mean, tonight, obviously you weren't in the game long enough to where your stats are going to jump off the board at you, but the moment was what really kind of propelled us to pulling you to be the player of the game, just because the momentum was switching, and obviously the Miners dugout over there was really getting into it. So you being able to come out there and do what you did was really impressive, keeping your nerves down, and just the little things like that to help win the game and kind of be the hero at the last two innings there.
I appreciate it.
So what goes through your mind, too? Just thinking of that play, that's clutch right there. You talk about 3-0, the bases are loaded, and you obviously don't want to bring in a run there. So what goes through your mind? Is there a certain pitch, not to give away your strategy, is there a pitch you're like, okay, I have to go to all reliable, or what is that mindset there when you face a 3-0 count with the bases loaded?
Usually I don't go 3-0 to start the inning or to start a batter off. Usually I'll get some strikes in, and then I'll make it get to 3-2 or whatever. So I realized, like, the first three pitches, I was just making this a big deal, so I just needed to settle down, throw some strikes. So I grooved that fastball in and got the called strike, and I knew I was ready to go. I just needed to settle into the mound, get game ready right there.
And so, obviously, you'd love to see that every strike and strike zone is the same for each umpire, but it does fluctuate. So when you see an umpire like tonight, it seemed like a couple of calls were close, and he kind of saw a different kind of look. How does that work for you as a pitcher to kind of adjust to how an umpire is calling, and what is that for you to try to change it up?
You usually that first batter you get a feel of where the umpire's zone's going to be. So usually like that umpire, he was calling some up, so I was pushing the limits on the top of the zone. I was just going to try to stay up because it's a pitch that everyone wants to swing at. If I can just push that a little bit up, I can get some strikeout calls. But usually if I can find out the umpire's zone early on, I can just figure out and push my boundaries and see how I can pick apart some batters.
My last question for you, Jackson. Today was Military Appreciation Night. Is there anyone close to you kind of have any connections, military or if so? Yeah.
My mom and dad are right down there. They both served in the military. My mom was in the Air National Guard. My dad served in the Navy. So I've come from a military family. My grandparents, uncles, aunts, they've all been in the military. So it meant a lot to come in and throw with these uniforms on and, represent my family since, they're in the military and all that.
All right, well, congratulations once again, and thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank
Again,
you.
Jackson McTire with us here, the player of the game, brought to you by Skyline Animal Clinic and Oak Grove Animal Hospital. We'll take one more timeout. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here at Colonel Field. Once again, the Hoppers did defeat the Madisonville Miners 6-5. This is Hopper Baseball, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Take us anywhere you go by downloading the WHOP radio app. We're Hoptown's News Radio 99.3 WHOP.
And welcome back here. Final score, 6-5, as the Hoppers defeat the Miners. Jamar Perkins joined by Ethan Alexander. We just spoke to the player of the game, Jackson McTire. And also, even cooler moment, too, is found out that both of his parents served in the military here on a Military Appreciation Night. So an even better way to kind of end out the night. But 6-5, the score as the Hoppers win. And as we mentioned, tomorrow, the Hoppers will be on the road in Muhlenberg County taking on the Stallions. After that, the Louisville Jockeys, they'll be playing on Saturday and Sunday, the Fulton Railroaders, all road games. Ethan, I hope you have fun on that one.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I told you I'm looking forward to it. Some of those road games, especially places like Georgetown, which is where Louisville's playing, and then Fulton are a little bit farther off, but I'll survive, and we'll make it back next week for some home ones.
And again, let the listeners know. I know people watching on YouTube already know, but how can listeners that, of course, WHOP won't be covering that game, but how can you watch for those weekend games?
Yeah, so we will be on YouTube, Hoptown Hoppers TV. That's all one word, Hoptown Hoppers TV. And we do our best to get those games out at the same time we get the home games out, depending on when games start at away stadiums. But there'll be play-by-play. It's just me on those away games. But once again, Hoptown Hoppers TV on YouTube to watch Hoppers away games.
All righty. And so once again, I want to say the final score, 6-5. The Hoppers defeat the Madisonville Miners as they move on to 4-8 now on the season and trying to get back into the win column as they break a 3-game losing streak, and that's exactly what they did. So a nice job from the Hoptown Hoppers. Once again, tomorrow, they will be in action on the road taking on Muhlenberg County. You can check that broadcast on Hoptown Hoppers TV. And want to say thank you to Ethan Alexander, Jeff Sisk as well, and Bruce Smiley for all the help that they do. This is Jamar Perkins saying so long, and as always, call your loved ones and tell them go Hoppers.